Good evening and welcome to the first round of 2022 for, I guess, what you could call one of our more serious and major series. It is the first round of the Development Series. Both, of course, being the first round of the season, but also under the new moniker of the Development Series, formerly Super 2, now includes a Super 3 class, including FG Falcons and old Holden Commodore VEs in the Super 3 class. Also got a slight change in the commentary box with Benjamin Rhodes now out there driving in the Super 3 class, with Kane Gray, better known as NZ Snipes, joining me in the commentary box. Welcome along.
Yeah, thanks, Lewis. Excited to be here. Excited to watch the Dev series go at it for a season, honestly. Series I started in back when it was just Super 2. So it's always good to see where the up-and-comers in ASR are coming from.
And of course, recently you've moved yourself solely into the main Supercar series on a full-time basis. But so far in practice and from the form guide from last week with the test night, who would be the form man leading into round one for the Super 2 class?
Oh, look, in Super 2 you can't go past Ben Hall right now. His times in practice he set some very quick times in practice. He's eclipsing the field by some margin. I would expect him to be a warm favourite for pole position, even a hot favourite for pole position tonight. But of course, even if you do get pole, you still have a whole race in front of you, so it could all go wrong at turn one, you never know. But I would definitely put Ben Hall straight in my favourite seat.
Well, not only that, there's not just the start for the Super 2 and Super 3 Development Series drivers to contend with this time. There's also a safety car the safety car has been introduced into the series for the first time, and we did see in the test night that it was a bit of a star, not something we want to see, the safety car out there and completing the most laps in the lead out of everybody. But it's certainly going to be something that's going to mix up the series, and even for guys that obviously looking at the form guide with Ben Hall being significantly quicker than everybody at the moment, could still shake things up, Snipes, with a poorly timed safety car for the leader, and a good start from one of the cars behind could see a mix-up in the order for some of these races, even with the faster guy starting at the front of the field.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, every time there's a safety car, obviously the whole field gets bunched. You could work away a few seconds lead, but once everyone's right behind you again, pressure's on. And it's going to be a challenge, I think, for the Super 2 and Super 3 drivers, the Dev Series drivers, I should say. But, everyone's going to learn. There'll probably be some safety cars. I would expect to see some safety cars. But, it'll probably breed also some interesting racing behind it. Let's hope for few safety cars, if any. But let's hope, more importantly, for a really good night of racing.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Obviously, last week, for those that weren't in the server or saw on the Discord, it was a bit of a mess. With there was two races where both of them largely dominated by the safety car. With the first race only having, I think, about 1.5 or 2 laps combined of actual green flag racing, and then the the second race was a little bit better with, I think, 3 or 4 actual green flag racing laps. So that's something that none of the drivers are frustrated about. There was a little bit of confusion with the whole safety car procedure. A number of drivers have never experienced it in Automobilista before, and it can be a little bit frustrating with the way the safety car and AI does sort itself around the circuit, with that stopping and propping at some of the slower corners on the circuit, sometimes even on straights at some circuits, but also some drivers just a little bit over eager on the safety car restarts with either not following procedure or they didn't know the procedure, and that also caused some shenanigans. So hopefully we don't see it tonight, but if it does, hopefully it does. It's at a point that it mixes up a race, and also hopefully doesn't breed another one. But 3 races tonight from Albert Park. Drivers currently going through a driver's briefing, so might as well go over the circuit for tonight. Snipes, Albert Park, fast and flowing. Of course, this is the old layout, so 1996 through to 2020, 2021. What are your key points of the circuit? Obviously, turn 1 is going to be key. obviously leads into a passing point into turn 3, but pretty much all the stops around here pretty vital.
Yeah, honestly, you if you're crafty enough, you can make it work around a lot of places here. And saying that, it can be difficult to overtake someone who is of similar pace, especially if they know what they're doing on defense. But obviously, yeah, your first couple of turns will be important. Turn 9 at the Clark Chicane, I believe it is, will be super important, as well as turn 13. And getting a good exit out of the corners that precede these corners will be most important if you either want to make moves or defend your position. Just get overall good lap time.
Yeah, so personally for me, this is one of the more enjoyable circuits to drive. Probably not the most. It's probably not a circuit most would sort of think a supercar would be good around, but it's actually not too bad. You're able to carry a bit of speed through a number of the corners, and then you ramp it up with some faster cars like GT cars, or of course Formula One, which do host, Grand Prix around here. Very enjoyable circuit with a car with a little bit of grip. So pretty enjoyable to drive. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen lap records. Qualifying lap record, a 56.8 set by Mitch. This circuit's only been used, I think, once before, maybe twice in what would be classified as Super 2 running. I would expect those times, even though we do have only the hard tyre available tonight, we do expect those the qualifying time from Mitch, a 156.855, and a race lap record might be a little bit more difficult of a 56.288. So probably go beaten here, or get beaten here tonight, Snipes.
Yeah, it very well could be. Ben Hall in practice with a 55.3. I mean, obviously on race conditions, you'd be a little bit slower than perhaps quali runs that he may have been doing there, but I think there's a good chance there he could beat the 56. A 56.2, 56.8. I think he could pip that perhaps in both the quali and the race, respectively.
Yeah, we have seen in the practice night last week, as well as during the practice servers that's been up during the week, and even tonight in the practice session, which is just concluded or about to conclude, in the 55.3, which is faster than what I've been able to manage so far when I've done a handful of laps around this circuit. So up there with a few main game drivers there. So impressive from Hall. Also see Darren Kemp up there in P2 at the moment, which is fantastic to see. So moments away from qualifying. I'm just about to post a link on the Facebook page, of course, to the stream. So Snipes, if you can just carry us for a good couple of minutes, that'd be great.
Sounds good. No, we're looking at a really interesting first race. There'll be a bunch of people vying to get to the top of Super 2. It's actually it's it's going to be intriguing to see how the rest of Super 3 goes. Got some first-time runners in for both Super 2 and 3 today. Got some people returning. Welcome back, Philip Buck. And I'm super excited to see some of these cars go around.
Yeah, so due to the drivers' briefing, we haven't actually shown any of the cars yet. I haven't got any special graphics to sort of go through, a bit of a spotter's guide. So yeah, there was a little bit of technical difficulty there, so they did miss a little bit of what Snipes said there, so I do apologise. It's just when I press 0 on the keyboard, it sort of mutes the audio. But yeah, the number of the pretty much all the liveries haven't been shown publicly outside of the Discord, so people will be seeing them for the first time. There's no spotter's guide at the moment. I'll try and get one out at some point later on, but we've ticked over to qualifying here, Snipes. We've had test nights and practice servers, but now is where the famous rubber meets the road.
Yeah, very exciting. Going to be the race to the front of the queue will be intriguing. People always want to get that prestigious first spot for qualifying. Who's going to get it today?
So at the moment, just a little bit of lag and syncing going on. Just try and get a representative camera from down there at turn 1 if we can, if I don't keep going a little bit too far. There we go. So a little bit of server syncing at the moment, so just wait a moment, but we're not too far away here. We're in the qualifying session, of course. Just to go over the format while we do wait, there is one qualifying session and then, of course, 3 races. I should know the actual length of the races, but I actually can't remember off the top of my head. I do believe tonight, I think it's 8 laps.
8 laps. 8 laps.
Which, in a kilometre sense, I think it works out to be about 30 or 40 kilometres. I think it's 40 Ks. Looks like there's some kind of drama there. Looks like the server is being reset for some unknown reason. Possibly a wrong setting, so it's just being sorted out. So a little bit of a slight delay here, but not far away from qualifying. And with that, and the server being reset, all that grip snipes that the drivers had put down in practice is going to disappear. So maybe that qualifying record is
could be in jeopardy.
It might not get them. Well, it might be safe now. It might be.
Oh, it might be safe. Sorry.
So
yes. You're right. Brain didn't quite work there, but no, 100%. When obviously you want rubber on the track to go as fast as you can, and when there is less rubber, you can go less fast. So there's a chance they'll reset it back, but it might just be back to a standard low setting, which is, well, you could lose a second easily there.
Especially with the hard tyre, I found around the circuit, the hard tyre, you can set a decent lap time, but particularly the long right-hand bend after the first sector ends, rear end does like to step out a little bit when it's a low grip circuit. So that's even at a medium setting, not even a low or none. So could see some drivers here in qualifying struggling a bit. Although I am having a look at the server and it's currently set to maximum, which is a bit of a cheat code for these drivers out here. It's been straight up given max grip, so it's a little unfair. So that's probably the record in serious jeopardy now.
Yeah, no, probably. We'll see. We'll get through to the qualifying session hopefully very soon, and I would bet on it falling, but you never know, and we'll only know once that qualifying session's over. I'm really intrigued to see who fills out the top 5 in Super 2. It's going to be I think a lot of people in close contention. Look out for the likes of, obviously, Darren Kemp to do well. I think we've got some old professionals in Phil Boak who could be right up there. Will be intriguing to see how it all lays out.
Of course, Boakey, the reason why I sort of stepped down from admin duties and from a lot of racing here at ASR/AMS Oz was he had another child. So he isn't in the sim all that often anymore. So not really seen him do too many practice laps. He was there last week to do a handful of laps in the test race, but yeah, pace still a little bit of an unknown. He's not going to have too much practice, so he will be a little bit of a wild card. But from what we've seen, Ben Hall, of course, is going to be probably the driver to look out for in Super 2. His teammate Lockie Lock also was pretty handy pace-wise last week in the test round, although his starts and being caught up behind other cars did catch him out a little bit. So that will be something to look out for. Darren Kemp, who you did mention, of course, started last year quite strongly, but then fell as the season wore on. So he's looking for a bounce back year.
Yeah, I would expect to see him up there. Honestly, I would expect he's got reasonable pace tonight, as far as I can see, and I would expect him to be right around the top 3 reasonably consistently. We know what he can do, and it seems he's finding more and more pace as time goes on.
Yeah, so I do expect him to bounce back and have a strong year. He'll definitely feature in the top 5, I'd imagine, throughout the year. But guys like Steve Warwick, we've seen in practice also, is fairly strong as well. I'll actually take a little squeeze here at live race as well. We're going through another restart due to a dropout, so has been warned to the drivers. This will be the last one. If your game crashes, well, tough titties. But just going from live races, of course, these are the fastest times throughout the week. Actually, no, it may have even been updated for the last few days. But Ben Hall, 55.3, the fastest, with Darren Kemp a 56.1, but we did see Lockie Lock do a 56.0 last week. There may have been another driver as well go under the 56 mark. Lockie Lock, 56.6, but we have seen him go faster. Noah Tara is going to be up there. He's been quick in previous Super 2 seasons.
Absolutely.
Steve Warwick, of course, He's old hand, knows his way around a race circuit. And then we've got Justin Cecil. He's up there as well, currently 7th fastest with Cheese, who, again, is another one that I think is going to improve as the season goes on. Higginson as well, another one who'll be keen to improve. And then we've got Darren Loughnane, who I think did the last couple rounds of Super 2 last year as well, but he's actually in the Super 3 class. But he did say in the Discord that lap he set a 57.8 was a bit of a fluke. So
good lap. It's a reasonable lap.
Yeah, it's a solid lap.
I would expect to see. I think Steve Warwick has improved actually massively since he's joined along. As far as I've observed, I think he's driving very, very competitively nowadays. Very competitively. It's super good to see. Well done, Steve. I'm a big fan. Some newcomers in tonight. Brandon Dostal in for Super 2. I personally have not seen him race before. Welcome along. That'll be intriguing to see. We've got, Felix Kim's in his first race. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's the first time I believe he's raced here. I have seen the name around in other AMS circles. This will be Laszlo Teglas and Christian Alvarez's first official start in a Supercars race here, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They were around, of course, for the Summer Series. Luke Yeager was around, I think, a year or two ago. It's good to see him back out there.
He's back from last year. He's actually with us, with our Kiwi Sim Sports boys. He came in end of last year, and I expect he'll get quicker throughout the season. Honestly, he's got some pace in him. Phil D, I think, with his first race also for Super 2.
Yep.
With ASR.
Yep, that's correct. He's driving blue Ford Falcon FGX in the Super 2 class. We've got Anthony Filippi. I'm trying to think if he did a race on the back half of Super 2 last year. He has been around for the last few months here in ASR, but Brendan Nostal, he's done some racing over in ASC in Super 2. He's done the odd main game race as well. So may not be the quickest driver out there, but he's not the worst driver either. So expect him to pull in some solid results and probably get better as the season goes on. So look out for him. He's in a white, red and black Holden VF Commodore, very reminiscent of some HRT liveries. A big Shannon's logo on the front of it. So
yeah, nice looking car. It's a nice looking car, definitely.
So hopefully we can get underway at some point. Drivers now out there just doing some practice laps. In fact, we might as well just go out and show some before the session gets ticked over. So Phil D, currently on the screen, coming through the long right-hander just after the first sector, and that corner in these cars on hard tyres can be quite difficult. So look for drivers, particularly midway through and towards the end of the race, actually struggling through there. So he's driving for Blue Mountains skid marks. And you can see some licorice straps there on the bonnet of his car. And try and cycle through some others here. Looks like everyone's actually going back to the pits here, so we may be getting a start. So we'll be back over to one of the other screens here while we wait. Yep.
Strong field tonight, 26 strong. Obviously, this is the biggest series I think that ASR's ever had now, right, in terms of sign-ups. Am I correct on that? It feels massive.
It would certainly be very close. We actually did have to cut the amount of, we had to put a hard limit on how many cars were able to race, and in fact if we do get a night where everybody shows up, we actually can't have the guest cars. We can't have any of them allowed because there won't be enough spots either on some grids, and there won't be some tracks where we have to go through and modify each circuit now with AIW files and make sure that the cars down the back end of the pit group bays actually don't spawn off in the middle of nowhere. So a little bit of work for us, but so far 26, although I did see 27, so someone hasn't quite made it back from earlier. But have ticked over to qualifying, just getting a bit of a sync on at the moment, but might as well bring it up on our screen here. Hopefully no more. This won't be restarted, I don't believe. If I can finally click the right screen. There we go. You took me 7 goes, but we finally got it. And that's what service sync looks like. The engine just revving on the same note repeatedly, and cars walked into each other here. So just wait a moment for it all to sort itself out. Should be another probably 10 or 15 seconds
the glories of an older game. Honestly, it's a beautiful game. I love myself some Automobilista, but it likes to do this sort of stuff every single time.
It does have some quirks, and well, as we can see here, yeah, some drivers actually walked into and out of each other there, and there we have Ben Hall overtaking Taipan at the pit lane. Now, I'm just going to have a little squeeze here, and as you can see, there's a long line to the left of the drivers there, the pit exit line. In real life, you're not meant to cross that. It looks very close to it, and Matt Cecil indeed does. Now, in real life, if you do that, you're going to find yourself with a penalty. It's a bit harsh at this circuit because it runs all the way down to turn number 1, and ooh, geez, had a bit of a think of going straight to the outside there. But I'm just sitting here seeing how many drivers know the actual racing rules here or not. But looks like they're all pretty well behaved at the moment. So we'll see the field stream through. Kim's does run over it a little bit, but this does Noah Turra, but they're not going straight out to the racing line, so not a massive break. But we still have more cars to come here, so it's just a very sizable field. But a lot of these guys towards the back here doing probably a smart idea and waiting for everybody in the midfields and at the front to sort of drive away and give themselves some nice space. So Steve Warwick here, if he doesn't go too quickly on his outlap, should have all the space in the world.
The only thing he'll be worried about is P1, or wherever Ben Hall essentially is. Just be slightly mindful of that, but he's got plenty of room back to him, so no worries at all, Steve Warwick. And yeah, finding your own space in qualifying is super important. Trying to get right up to Jaxie in another car, or if someone's quicker than you, it's best to just let them go, I feel. Try follow them. But giving yourself your own space in qualifying is super important for sure.
Especially 10-minute sessions, and it being such a long circuit, it's going to be vital that at least you get a banker lap in without too many disruptions. But Ben Hall will be the first one to attempt a lap. Of course, may pick up a track cut or, fence it. So here we go, the first lap in anger for 2022 in the Dev Series. A lot of curb usage at turn 1. The car 20, and a bit loose there through turn 2. Now up to turn 3. Very easy to pinch the inside front right into here, but he's able to get through there nicely. Takes a bit of curb at 4, runs it out nicely on the exit. Now for turn 5, and right out sideways on the exit, and a 38.2 in the first split.
A pretty good first sector there. He's using all of the track really, really well. He's opening up all of these corners. Key to this circuit is every circuit is opening up your corners to give yourself the best line through to it. And he's waiting. He's not narrowing his line too much. However, he's just let it up a bit too happy on the throttle, and that'll be this one. Well, slightly less quick than it could be now.
Still got probably a little bit of time on his side, looking at all the other times in the first sector. So Phil Boak about a tenth off in the first sector, 31.321 in the middle sector, which has actually been surpassed by Ayrton Filippi in the middle sector, but his first sector was quite poor. So plenty of time in it for Ben Hall.
That's nice through there.
Yep, nice and smooth. Doesn't take too much of the grass on the inside, which it can do, which can unsettle the car. A little bit sideways, coming through corner made famous by David Coulthard in 2000 by having a massive accident on the inside, and through the final corner, a little bit of curb usage, a little bit sideways on the exit, which these hard tyres does produce, and still going to be a solid banker at a 1 minute 56.5.
Yeah, that's that's still pretty quick. Definitely just a banker for Ben Hall. He's got a lot more pace in it than that, but look, that's still a reasonable gauntlet laid down, and I feel most of the field will still struggle to get on top of that, if I'm to be honest.
We've only seen a couple people even go under that time in practice, so it's going to be a difficult time to beat, and as we did see, a number of drivers out there did have some faster sectors than Hall throughout that. Just got a car up in the background there. Got Steve Warwick. He's actually up 0.3 of a second in the middle sector. Very wide on the exit. I think it's turn 12. I wonder if he would have picked up a track cut for that, but still going strong at the moment. Ben Hall has improved again in sector 1 by about 1/10 of a second. But we'll stay with Steve Warwick and see what he is able to manage here.
A little bit wide through the third to last corner here. Coming up to the penultimate, he's got traffic in front of him that'll be... Melody Smith does a good job keeping out of the way there. So you want to just open this up, smooth on the gas. That's a reasonable exit. He probably could go through faster, but look, it'll be good for a banker, that one there, which is all you really want out of your first lap. Just get a time down on the board and it'll still be quite respectable. P2 he goes. He's only 3.5 down. He is very close.
So a bit conservative in that final sector, but still very solid lap there from Steve Warwick. And currently P2 ahead of Evan Felipe Cheese and Nathan Higginson. And currently on pole, Ben Hall on purple, and purple is about to obliterate his previous lap time, almost a second faster in the middle sector than his previous lap here.
Fantastic out of the last corner. He's using the slip angle of the car really well to push him through the corner. Like, he's using just that little bit of oversteer to get through faster and just managing it instead of going conservative and waiting for it, which is the more risky way to drive, but it's definitely the faster way to drive too. So that's really cool to see.
And that is a new qualifying lap record as well. As Taipan goes P7. And just trying to have a look out to see who the lead Super 3 driver is.
Currently Cracker. Cracker is your leading Super 3 driver with a 158.6. Darren Loughlin yet to set a lap, so he'll be definitely one to watch, I feel, for challenging that, noting he did set a mid-57s or something like that in the practice server, so he's got that pace in him to push up towards the front.
Certainly does, but he hasn't got much time, only 3 minutes. He's going to have to get out there and set a lap pretty quickly here, because it does take, obviously, about 2 minutes to set a lap, as you see Melody Smith going wide there at turn 12. Also,
yeah, he has 2 more shots.
Also got Laszlo Teglas there at the moment, coming out of the final corner. He's about to set his first time lap. And across the line he goes. He goes 14th overall there with 2 minutes, 0.9.
Get yourself on the board in quali. That's his first lap in the supercar, is it not? First time lap in the supercar. So good work, Laszlo. It's a great starting point.
This is also ahead of Zdrolazak, who is in the Super 2 class as well. So, and Phil Boat, who did cut to for a moment there, was right out sideways and struggling to, and he didn't get it stopped down there at turn 1. Having a look at Noah Tara at the moment. Is another one that's not really... Well, he hasn't set a lap time at all. Same with Lockie Lock as well, who's in the pits.
Yeah, Lockie Lock has been having some wheel troubles tonight. Let's hope that's not plaguing him right now. I know his wheel was turning itself off in the practice session to the point that when he turned, it just went 100% each way, essentially, on the smallest turn. So let's hope he's not having issues there. Noah's definitely one to watch. Interesting he hasn't laid down the lap time yet, because he is definitely top 5 material in my books.
First sector, not the greatest, but something to build upon. He'll just want to get a lap time in, and then probably his second lap he'll probably want to try and push on to find a little bit of extra time. Looking at live races at the moment, also have Darren Kemp's actually now jumped up into position number 2. Good job from Kempy. And yeah, with some drama to Lockie Lock there, it's going to open up definitely the podium getters the Super 2 class.
Lockie Lock is out there now, so he'll be... is he actually on a lap? I'm not sure he is. I'm not sure he has time to start a lap. He's got a minute to get around the circuit and start one.
He's not going to get time.
I don't think he's going to get there, yeah.
Because it's about 38 seconds, 39 seconds to the first sector line, which he's just got to. And, well, when he got there was less than a minute to go. So he's going to have to... try and maybe cut a corner to try and get there, but he's not going to get there. He's actually taking the proper layout. So Tara goes to P10 in the end. And just trying to have a look and see if there is anybody out there currently improving. Steve Warwick has just started a lap, but he's actually got It's got Noah Tara a little bit further down the road, so maybe towards the back end of the lap it'll help him out a little bit.
Noah Tara's coming up on Rhodey here. Rhodey is just Rhodey's just spun out in front of him. Unlucky Rhodey. But Noah Tara's got through reasonably unscathed. He's not far off the first sector, so let's see if he pushes forward on his lap time. I know he's got more pace in it than what he's laid bare there, so we'll see. He's up by 2/10.
Also got Justin Cecil at the second split line. He's gone about a 1/10.5 better than his personal best. Got Taipan coming into the pits. And looks like Ben Hall had actually gone purple, or close to it, in Sector 1. He's got a flame next to him on live races. Of course, for those wanting to check out live timing, asrleague.liveraces.com, and then of course click on the active server and show you all the deets there. But looks like Hall's backed out of it in the middle sector with traffic. Tara up about a 1/10, almost a 1/10.5. He's very wide, and that'll be a track cut, I'd imagine, or very close to it.
Yeah, it's marginal. It might be. It was definitely quite wide, but he's definitely stuck in it, so perhaps not. He's pushing very hard still. Pulled it up quite nicely for that. I can't break that deep.
He's also got Brad Severs a little bit further down the road, but he shouldn't pose too much of a problem unless he has a spin at the final corner. He's had a half spin there at the penultimate corner.
You'd just be hoping that you could just, if you were there, Noah, just try keep your eyes on yourself. Try not to let it distract you. Focus on your entry, your exit. He might improve here. He does. P4. There we go. Yep. Better lap from Noah. Found a lot of time in the last sector.
Yeah, a lot of time. P4. Also saw Nathan Higginson jump up very late there that I didn't pick up as well.
Good work, Pico.
So, Hall, well, over a second out in front. If he continues that on for another round or two, he'll probably find himself out of the development series because he won't need any more development. As we see the last of the drivers set lap times with Phil D there, the last man over the line, improving, going P15 overall, 159.551. So it's hot coming in, and the form has stayed red hot for Ben Hall in qualifying, 155.6. Not his ultimate fastest from what we've seen in practice, but still pretty close to it, and well clear of second place Darren Kemp. Good to see him bounce back in P2 with Higginson in position number 3. And that's qualifying done and dusted for the Super 2 class. And of course, once my game decides to update itself, I'll be able to go through the rest of the order. So the lead Super 3 car is Cracker for PBF Academy's Scotch Smugglers. I think that's the actual team. It actually doesn't fit in the menu. Of course,
Smuggler.
both himself and Rhodey in that team. In very well, they are the old Bundaberg HSV liveries from the early 2010s, 2010 or 2011, albeit they've swapped out the old Bundy Red for some Johnny Walker. With Cracker, his is, I think the only way I can describe it is baby shit green as his main primary colour, and Rhodey's is the blue label of Johnny Walker. So he's going to start 12th overall. Fantastic effort. Also got Netherrealmian out there. He doesn't do too much supercar racing. Good to see him out there as well. But
he's just having a dip. Nether's just going to go out there and have a go. I love to see it.
Yeah, and as the drivers' briefing has already been conducted as well, the drivers are able to just get straight out there. But Snipes, outside of Ben Hall, very, very close really from second on down.
Yeah, super competitive, and a lot of these names we kind of expected to see there or thereabouts. Higginson with a really good lap to push him up to P3. You're right there, definitely. I think he's got pace when he puts it together, Nathan Higginson. I think the key for him is just putting it together more often. Noah Tara, we know he's fast, and we know he can win races. So if something happens to Ben, I think that's the caveat. You couldn't discount Noah for a race win. And nor Steve Warwick. Ayrton Felipe, good result there, P6 here. He'll be looking to just get a smooth a smooth, trouble-free race, I think, out of his system. I think that's the best play for him from there. But it's hard when you're fighting amongst these positions. I think Matt Cecil with P7 is also a stellar effort.
Yeah, that's a great effort from both Matt and Felipe there. Ahead of some names that you probably wouldn't expect. But the man on screen, Phil Boak, obviously he's not done too much practice in the lead-up. He'll start well down the field, down in 21st place, but he has won races in the main Supercars series in the past. He's just got to get to grips with the hard tyre, which I know he absolutely despises, the stock AMS Super V8 hard tyre. And a lack of practice is certainly showing, but I expect him, as the night goes on, Snipes, to move his way forward.
For sure, I would expect him to move up as well. Like in the end, you may be out of practice, but you're still very experienced, and he'll know what to do in a lot of these situations. But it's good to see him back and racing, and I expect him to do well as the season progresses for sure.
Certainly more seat time for him will only be a good thing. But sort of trying to find someone of interest here in the warm-up with 3 minutes to go. Got Felipe running very wide there into the turn 4. So these guys just doing their final checks, probably putting race fuel in, knowing everybody for the first time since last week. Been practicing all week with low fuel. That's generally how a lot of the practice goes in sim racing for a lot of people.
Everyone wants that top spot. It's coveted. Got to go as fast as you can in practice.
And then they show up on race day and they find themselves with a car that, what is it doing? I didn't do this with low fuel. Or it's like, oh, my tyres are worn. What do I do now?
What do you mean I can't brake there?
So, moments away here. 2 minutes away from the server ticking over. As
some practice starts happening up the front straight here. Got the likes of Warwick doing a practice start. Looks like Christian Alvarez.
Yep, and
Taipan behind.
There is actually on this circuit, just past the safety car, there is actually an actual box we can do a practice start out of the pits like they do in Formula 1. So I'm surprised that hasn't been used. Phil Boak doing a practice start. So drivers that actually do have a workable clutch at a pretty big advantage, and once you figure out how to start these cars and the right amount of clutch to apply, it's pretty easy to get a start. Myself, my clutch pedal plays up, so I actually don't have a clutch, and doing one of the practice races last week, certainly
lighting it up.
It was not good fun on the hard tyre and just going from neutral to first gear when it went green.
No, that's not ideal. That's not ideal at all. That clutch is so pivotal to balance a race start. And a race start's so important as well. It's the time when the whole field's all together. Easiest time to gain spots. So
particularly with these shorter races, only 8 laps here tonight. Start, and there's no compulsory pit stop either for these guys, so the start is really your biggest opportunity to make up multiple spots the easiest way, without having to rely on a pit stop, an undercut or an overcut. So if you can get away nicely, it will set your race up beautifully, and then all you got to do is concentrate on hitting apexes. But it's certainly going to be an unknown for a number of these guys that haven't started these cars before, or they have only had last week to really experience a start.
Absolutely, it will be interesting. Also, another interesting thing with tonight is the formatting being a progressive grid being introduced into the series as opposed to the reverse grids that have been running. It's going to now reward your consistency a lot more, so drivers that find themselves more up the front more often will they'll reap the rewards because they will stay out of the trouble.
Yeah, so the first 2 races you probably want to play it a little bit more conservatively and ensure that you get a decent starting position for the following race. Race 3 probably afford to be a little bit more aggressive, but it's certainly going to be interesting to see how these drivers do tackle the progressive format.
Well, there'll definitely be no more tanking it to get the reverse grid pole anymore. There'll be none of that tanking it. Now very negative for your next race.
Yeah, so no more. I'm just going to drive a bit slowly because I find myself in 9th place to let 10th place or just a hold position and start on the front row. That's not going to happen anymore. All right, well, as we're just about to tick it over, I'm about to just go and have a short break. So, Snipes, you're going to have to take over for just a moment or so, but I'll be back.
Miss you already, Lewis. Well, hello everyone, and welcome along to the Snipes Show. I hope you're all as excited about the season as I am. It's super cool for me to be up here and attempting to commentate. Apologies where it's terrible, but I'm up here to have a good time. I hope that the drivers have a good time, and I hope you watching along there also has a very good time. Oh. Got some people out there currently doing some practice. Phil Boak is practicing overtaking people at this point. We've got some new runners. Felix Kim's out there. Hope he does well. I believe he's from very overseas, which is cool to see more overseas drivers to add to the grid, alongside what Christian Alvarez driving from over in Europe, as well as Laszlo Teglis. So we got quite a few. We're ticking over to the race session now. I'm super excited for this race and for Lewis to get back. I don't know what I'm doing.
I have returned, and yeah, there we go.
Perfect timing. Look at that.
So
it's like you could sense it.
Yeah, so I didn't want to have to hold on for 8 laps or possibly 25 minutes. So
Fair play.
Take a short break. So as you can see there in the top left-hand corner as well, it's not just a race timer, it's actually counting down from 25 minutes as well as the 1/8. That is, of course, if there's too many safety cars for these guys, it's going to get timed out. So just a little bit of a warning for the drivers not to go too hard, and to try and keep it a little bit respectable out there. So if you end up causing 2 safety cars, you may find yourself finishing the race under yellow. Another rule, of course, is the green-white checker. So they get 1 attempt at it. If there's a late race safety car, the race will continually extend, and they'll have until the safety car pulls in, and they'll have 1 final lap dash to claim bragging rights. So drivers probably don't want to be too cheeky, Snipes, and try and under-fuel it. Not that you should really need to in these cars anyway, but people do certainly try.
Yeah. Saving an extra couple of kgs isn't really going to do too much when you're getting 600 horse to the rears. But hey, some people want to do it. That's fine. You got a fuel save, so it's a compromise. I'm personally a bit more of enjoying flat-out driving, but it is what it is. We're on our formation lap, Lewis. Race 1.
This is it. So we're about 2.5 minutes away from going green for the first time in 2022 in a semi-serious series here in ASR. And Snipes, why don't you run us through the grid for the first time?
No worries. With a stellar lap time, he seems to be miles ahead right now. Ben Hall out of P1. He's just got to get a good start. Darren Kemp coming out of P2. Good work from Darren to get himself on the front row. Reasonably competitive grid. Nathan Higginson coming out of P3. Good lap from him also to get himself right up the front, second row. He'll be wanting to keep his rear in check. Noah Tara coming out of P4. Another one we kind of expected to see up there. He's got race pace. Will he move forwards? Steve Warwick rounding out the top 5. A good effort from Steve to definitely get into here. I think it's a good indication of where his pace is at. Ayrton Felipe, P6, the young gun. The youngest member, I believe, in ASR at this point in time. I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but he is a very young fella, and he's looking like he's got some pace. Matt Cecil in P7 there. Reasonable effort for him, getting inside the top 10 is where you want to be. And Cheese in P8, he might be a little bit disappointed. I heard he was on the bourbons, so he might not care too much at the same time. Justin Cecil out of P9 for the Lucky Luck Motorsport Academy, I believe it was. Taipan in P10 there, driving for my own team, my own satellite team with Nathan Higginson. can't even remember the name. Luke Yeager here, driving for the under development squad here. His brother Damo away in the US right now. P12, Cracker. A good spot for Cracker to be starting from. Netherrealmian, not debuting, guest carring in at P13. Mike Coulston in 14th. That's a good effort from Mike. I believe that's right up there for the Super 2 grid. Phil D in P15. Rody up in P16. Good effort right up the front of Super 3. Brandon Dostal on debut in P17. God, that car looks good. Darren Loughnane in P18. Might be a little bit further back than he'd hoped for, but still a reasonable spot to be. Laszlo Teglis in P19 with Brad. I've forgotten his surname. I'm so sorry, Brad, in P20. Philip Bogue, P21. Felix Kims out of P22. Lockie Lock, God, that car looks good too. P23. Christian Alvarez in P24. And Melody Smith rounding out our grid, taking up the rear of the field.
Yeah, so we do have, I think we did have 27 total at one point in practice, but that has obviously one or two drivers haven't been able to get back in. Drivers forming up on the grid. Did see in the live chat that if Higginson isn't lining up sideways, it's definitely not him driving the car. Well, he's lined up sideways, and I wonder if he's the one that's holding us up. So there's one or two people moving. But anyway, lights are on here, moments away in the development series, and we are off. And Luke Yeager's already jumped the start, but he's got a poor start. Higginson's got a decent start, but spun up the rear wheel.
Kemp's up the inside. He's going to take the lead into T1.
And we've got Loughnane has been run into the back of, but into turn one, Kemp leads ahead of Paul and Felipe. Also had a fantastic start. There's a little bit of door banging through turns 1 and 2, but looks like for the most part they've got through there cleanly. Up into turn 3, Kemp's going to try and hold on around the outside. They're daring each other to brake later, but it will be, well, no, Kemp still fighting back. He's able to hold it around the outside. Now this time Hall holding around the outside.
Turns to the inside. Kemp cedes the position there. Probably a wise move. You don't want to be going too wide through there. You'll lose so much speed. Paul had the upper hand there. Good battle.
Yeah, good battle. Side by side. Good respect between the two drivers. Already got more racing done in this one sector than what we managed last time, or last week. But Hall leads away. It looks like Felipe's actually got a good run on Kemp. He's having a look. Late dive with the old switcheroo. Shades of Mansell and
Job
Pico.
done.
And we've got, I think there's an accident back there. I did hear a crunch, I thought.
Higginson and Kemp bumping down the straight behind Felipe. Felipe's probably going to have to go defensive here. This is going to be an awkward situation into the chicane. It's a fast area. Higginson sends it down the inside.
Oh, it's not really a passing opportunity. And then he's run into the back of Felipe. Thankfully, they've all lived to tell the tale. But
he might have the inside for this next corner here. He's going for it. This is vicious battling early in Super 2. Darren Kemp's hit Felipe. That is problematic, but Felipe's recovered amazingly.
Yeah, thankfully, the damage being on 30% enabled him to sort of live the fight another day there, as Higginson runs a little bit wide after a little bit of a lock-up there, but Paul leads away. Felipe thinks about a move on Higginson. Higginson is defensive, and, well, I think we're going to have a massive train here behind Higginson and a big battle pack here. So,
yeah, look, it is on for P2. It seems, well, Ben Hall's likely going to drive away. He wants to be as consistent as he can to pull away from the battle pack. He'll be loving seeing them battle behind it. They are still battling. Darren Kemp on the inside of Felipe gets the job done. Good run. Now, will he hold it down into 3 is the question. Felipe trying to get the outside in, so he may have a good run through here. Far out, the battling is harsh. Noah Tara buying right into it.
Also had Matt Cecil and Cheese battling into turn 1 as well.
Oh!
Big
We've got Warwick and Tara, sorry. Massive contact, you're right.
Let's have a look at that on the replay, so we'll find out the aftermath a little bit later. So what's happened here? We go to the high shot if we can. And yeah, Warwick just a little bit too late on the brakes, and he's then just cascaded Noah Tara into Kemp. So that's made life a lot easier for Nathan Higginson. Massive lead for Hall already. And Felipe now a little bit more comfortable in 3rd place, but he's still got Kemp right behind him, and now Cheese up 3 spots behind him. But Phil Boak up 13, making a move on tight band, a little bit of rubbing into turn 9. They're going to go side by side. And even goes in the wall there, and they've got Justin Cecil and Cracker also doing a good job in Super 3 in the top 10 overall. So hot and heavy already.
Yeah, absolutely. Battling is fierce, bit of bumping into the fast chicane here. Taipan takes the ascendancy through it. Might have also taken a track cut. Would have been close. Phil Boak, however, with a really, really good run out of it, and he's going to have the overspeed. Will Taipan defend? It looks like he is, but he isn't covered. Oh, they've made contact. They've made contact there.
And we've got Cheese off as well. They're all off. And the big winner, Boat half spins it. We've got Cracker up the inside of Taipan after that poor run. So Cracker is just going forward, but the big winner, Justin Cecil there, picking up a couple positions for nothing there.
Yeah, Matt Cecil also up to P5 here, and look, we've got a bit of a breakaway top 5. Ben Hall a mile in front. Higginson good with a bit of a gap to 3, 4, and 5, which are reasonably close together, being Felipe Kemp and Matt Cecil. And then the next 3, a second and a bit behind them.
There's a bit of contact between Cracker and Taipan into turn 1 in the braking zone, and it's forced Taipan off the circuit. I probably won't be too happy with that one. But Cracker now up to P7 in Super 3.
How far can he go? How far can... Look, it's just a testament. Staying out of trouble can get you positions in this series. People will make mistakes, so if you can stay away from other people's mistakes and make minimal of your own, you will flourish. And I think that's the best lesson out of here.
And also got Lockie Lock, who did start at the back after not being able to set a lap time. He's up 12 spots into 11th place. And he's not too far away, so he's only about 6-7 seconds, 10 seconds off P5, so it's pretty unrealistic. But if he has a really good run and Justin Cecil and Cracker do drop off, he may be able to sneak into 6th or 7th spot. But
he's got pace. He's got pace, so he could.
He'll need a bit of help because he's got a bit of a battle pack in front. He's got Phil Boat, who is trying to recover after running off the road. He's got Cheese as well, looking to recover. Taipan will probably have the eyes on after Cracker gave him a little bit of nudge into turn 1, and then we have now Justin and Matt Cecil duking it out for position number 5 as we go back. Boat looking to make a move on Cheese into 13, has to back out of it at the last moment. Cheese has actually got a really good run out of there, hasn't run Taipan, and forces Taipan to run a little bit wide, and Taipan's got it sideways. A bit of contact there, nothing Cheese could do. But it's all happening. Cheese with the switch, and he's going to have the run.
Move. That's a really good move there. Just panicked him out of it a little bit, showed his nose up the inside. Taipan went wide, made a little mistake, and then just couldn't quite pull it together for the hairpin there. And yeah, no, good work by Cheese.
Here we go. Yellow flags down here at turn 1. That's Felipe. He's gone off the road. Let's have a look on the replay and see what he's done here. So he's looking to break the toe earlier on the straight. And looks like he's just dropped it on his own there. So lock the rears coming in, maybe a gear down too many, and around he goes.
We have an interesting little battle for Super 3 here. We've got 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, all Super 3 combatants, and all of them within a second and a half of each other here. It's a massive, massive train of Super 3 runners. It's Phil Dees spun out. Was it Phil? Yes, it is. Phil Dees unfortunately lost it there. So the pack becomes a bit less and a bit less compressed, unfortunately, but it's on around that area.
It takes the Super 2 run around of it and just makes it a sole Super 3 battle pack here. I've got Rhodey, he's on the grass there and almost loses the rear end and almost does a Pastor Maldonado there. Circa, it was 2012 he did that. But he's not too far away from Alvarez. Alvarez now looking to put Mike Coulston under pressure in the Benetton crossed with a Jordan crossed with a Ford Cosworth livery, the Camel. And he's not too far away from Teglas, around a little bit wide there at turn 12, and they're not too far behind Brendan Dostal. Looks like he's had a wheel problem there. He's just gone hard left and he's on full acceleration, so possible wheel problem there. And he's stuck in gear. So
that's gone. Maybe that's probably a hardware failure, you'd have to think.
It's definitely a hardware failure.
Unlucky.
The car's still revving. So
accelerator stuck perhaps. Everything's just gone kaput, unfortunately. That'll be his race done. Unfortunately, he kept his nose reasonably out of trouble and he moved forward quite a long way until that happened. So chin up, look forward to the next race. You'll start from the back. all to do again, but look, that was a good effort. Hopefully he gets it sorted in time for race 2. We've got quite a battle going on as well. Well, it's been quite a battle in laps. The top kind of between 4 to 7, there's been moves like Jagger. Everyone is going everywhere. They're trying to vie, but right now it's P5. But I think this is it's been a really tight battle for the last couple of laps.
Yeah, so we've got Matt Cecil currently holding on to P5. He's just got Cheese behind him, and he did have Cracker, but he just got overtaken there. And we did just see by Cheese. Phil Bloke not too far away, and then of course Lockie Lock not far away from that P5 as well that he'd like to recover to after unfortunately missing qualifying. But recovering Filippi all over the back of Saipan. He's had an eventful run and he's a little bit wide there through the long sweeper, and that's all Filippi needs. Up the inside and into the top 10. Well, both Filippi and Taipan clamber all over the curbing, and we've got Cracker around, and
Cracker's around. Filippi's into him. Taipan, all that work gone.
They both
disaster.
Get away with it. Cracker may have more of a pressing problem here. I think he's checking out the car, and he's going to lose the lead in Super 3.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Filippi seems to have a puncture, I believe, from that, a left front puncture.
Yeah.
Let's see what he put. Yeah, it's gone. That's gone. He's going to have to stop, unfortunately. So that's going to really put him back in this race. Unfortunate.
And we've got to move.
Sometimes
Mike Coulston has made the move on Laszlo Teglas for, I believe that'll be the lead for Super 3.
Yeah, I believe you're right there. Mike Coulston is in fact leading Super 3.
Cracker's got back running up. Looks like he's back up running at speed again. We also saw Rhodey running off the road behind that pack. He was right behind Alvarez. And he almost ran into the back of him there. But Super 3... where it's at the moment. Mike Coulston leading the way. Laszlo Teglas not too far behind, and then we have Cracker, Alvarez, and Rhodey. Looks like he may have made another mistake there. So just starting to struggle a little bit on these harder tyres. Nope. He's avoiding Filippi. Almost missed the pit entry. So probably wouldn't have practiced it. You don't need a compulsory pit stop in this one. He also has a puncture on that side, so Rhodey had to slow down for that. So that's probably taking him out of this battle pack. But we'll skip further afield, where Nathan Higginson, we'll just do a little recap with Hall well out in front of Higginson. So if you're in a green, black and white car, it seems to do fairly well. Then we have Darren Kemp in third ahead of Justin Cecil. He's done a really good job up 5 spots, a little bit wide there and on the grass. He's got Cheese, who's come on strong, Snipes, as the race has gone on. And then we have Matt Cecil, who's dropped out of the top 5, but not too far away. And Lockie Lock, who of course started at the back in 7, not too far away there. So there might still be some late fireworks here.
Yeah, I don't think the top 5 is settled. Sorry to cut you off there, Lewis. I don't think that top 5 is settled yet. I think that there's a good chance Lockie Lock could catch Matt Cecil. He is very quick. Around the circuit, I believe he'd set second fastest time. Someone was off there. I can't quite figure out who that was. There you go, Felix Kims. But yes, I think Cheese is slowly bearing down on Justin Cecil here. He's been setting faster lap times for the last few laps, so there's a chance that come the last lap or two, he's right up there with him. Not if he keeps doing that though.
You've got Phil Boats dropped off the road a couple of times by the look of it, because he wasn't too far off the back of that pack, and got Cracker out of the race. What has happened?
Oh, disaster.
Super 3 leader. So he'd come up to, on the replay here, come up to the back of Teglas. It's just a bit late on the brakes, and he's ran into the back of Teglas, and then looks like he's just decided to unfortunately park it. Shame for Cracker.
Yeah, we've unfortunately got a few DNFs in the race. So just quickly, with Brandon obviously with that big crash, Steve Warwick DNF'd in lap 4, and we've got Just Cracker DNFing just then, unfortunately. So they will be starting from the back for the next one. But eyes forward for Cracker. He's definitely got some pace if he can keep it out of trouble.
There's still 2 more races to go, of course, for those guys to redeem themselves, but they've made life a little bit more difficult. Knowing that they're going to have to start from the back of the field with the progressive grid.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we've got a battle for teammates. This is again in Super 3. Laszlo Teglas and Christian Alvarez on track within half a second of each other. And I tell you what, Christian has had a bit of pace in some of the other cars I've seen him drive. So I think once these guys get fully up to speed, they could be quite quick in a supercar. it'll be it's intriguing to see how they battle each other. Will they be fierce rivals as such, or will they give each other a lot of space? I know for when I'm battling Cheese, for example, I like to send him. So
yeah, it will be interesting to see how that battle. We've got yellows down out there. So who is off the road? Maybe Kim's again. I think it is, yeah. It is Kim's that is off the road.
Felipe going slow, really slow in P21. He's pulling off the... He might be out of gas.
No, he's still got an engine fire. Oh, no, it's turned itself off. So, yeah, maybe he's run himself out of fuel there. So
he's just pulling it off there.
Not sure how he's... Or maybe just turned it off himself. I don't know, but...
he's parked it. Yeah, he ran out of fuel.
Well, I don't know how you managed to do that in an 8-lap race, and you've also had a pit stop, but there you go. But Hall leading the way ahead of Higginson. They're comfortable at the moment. Kemp fairly comfortable. He's got a few seconds to Justin Cecil in fourth. Then we have Cheese and Matt Cecil. They've re-engaged in a battle. And Lockie Locke will be keeping a close eye on those two, because he's not too far away as well. So Cecil now right on the tail of Cheese, is right out sideways on the exit of 3, and Matt Cecil flying the blowtorch to that Thrustmaster bumper, and Lockie Locke's right there as well now.
Yeah, it's getting close towards the back end. Matt Cecil coming back with the vengeance. Justin Cecil also pulling away a little bit, and I noticed Justin Cecil getting just a little bit closer to Darren Kemp. Still not close enough to challenge.
Cheese sideways. He's going to have to go defensive here. Cecil's going to have a look. Is he? No, he backed out of it. So coming into the sweeper, thought for a moment Cheese was going to lose that position. He did get it sideways.
He's sideways again.
He's struggling on these old hard tyres here.
Yes, it is the final lap, so this is race for keeps at this point in time. I think we got Ben Hall not far off crossing the line. He's so far ahead.
He's a couple corners away. We'll try and keep as much of an eye on this battle as we can, as Cheese sort of misses the apex, but Cecil hits the anti-cut curbing. And so Cheese
that hurts.
A good run. So
that may be it.
That may well be it, yes. And also had Rody get ahead of Alvarez, so something's happened to Alvarez there, but Ben Hall will take race number 1 in the Development Series comfortably ahead of Nathan Higginson. And I think the biggest surprise so far, we haven't got all these runners over the line yet, but we haven't seen a safety car. So props to all the drivers for keeping it much cleaner than last week. So Higginson second, Kemp will come home in third place. Good rebound from the end of last year. Great result from Justin Cecil in fourth place, and Cheese did hold off Matt Cecil for P5, and then we have Lockie Locke recovering to 7th. Phil Boak recovering to P8. He had a bit of a yo-yo run up and down. Taipan home in 9th place, and Mike Coulston in Super 3 will round out the top 10.
And, that's a great effort, Mike.
And also take out the win in the Super 3 class. So the first ever winner in Super 3 is Mike Coulston. And Laszlo Teglas will be second. Rody will come home in third place. He'll be ruining some of the mistakes he made, because he was not far away from Coulston and Alvarez. Netherelmian home in 13th. Didn't see too much of him in this one. Dare say maybe he caught up in some stuff to end up back there. Darren Lachlan, of course, we did see him around on the opening lap. And he's home in 14th with a bit of battle damage. Strolazak home in 15th. Luke Yeager in 16th place. Noah Tara, we did see some drama for him early on. Expect him to rebound. He'll start next race in 17th. Phil D in 18th. Christian Alvarez, late drama for him. Maybe he had some fuel issues.
Yeah, I don't know. He was going very, very slow down the pit straight just then for like a good 20 seconds, and he lost about 3 positions, and then he just started gassing it away as if he had... I'm not sure what's happened there. That's very strange.
And Melody Smith home in 20th. With Felix Kim's home, the last of the finishers, in 21st place, with Ayrton Felipe had a good start, an opening portion of the race, obviously having some late race and mid-race dramas. Cracker, who led early on in Super 3 quite comfortably before making a couple minor errors before that last one that he decided to call it quits on. In 23rd, Steve Warwick was, of course, did make that mistake into turn 3 and decided to not finish afterwards. And Brenda Dostal, who had hardware failure Unfortunately, 25th,
Yeah.
and the first retirement of the year. So, Snipes, one race done in the development series, and already we've seen some cracking battles.
It was really good. Like it's basically all is scheduled there in that P2 to that top 10. Realistically, the whole top 10 is quite competitive with each other, and we're going to be seeing some ding dong battles. A lot of people have raced each other before and they know what to expect. And look, that went better than I expected it to. Well done to the field. Quick shout out again to Lockie Lock. He moved up 16 positions in that race. He started at the back of the grid after I think he missed qualifying, and whew, 16 spots. That's a fantastic drive to get yourself well into the top 10. Sets him up nicely for this race. If he can keep it out of trouble again, well, who knows where he could finish.
Well, he'll be hoping to get himself a few spots down the road, and his teammate will be hoping he can get himself there too and make it a 1-2, which, with his pace, he could very well do that. But we did see we didn't see much of it because he was out on his own from pretty much lap 4 onwards, but probably the most mature drive we've seen Nathan Higginson do in his ASR AMSL's career so far. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Comfortably home in second, and I know Kemp did have some battling and a little bit of contact with some other drivers, but still was comfortably ahead of him by the end of the race. So going to be interesting to see how the rostrum plays out for the remaining 2 races, of course. But Van Hall at the moment looking untouchable in the Super 2 class, but Super 3 though, Snipes.
Battle's on.
Battle
They
is
were all
on.
close.
Outside of Cracker, who did seem to drive away from him in the early portions of that race, with him starting a little bit further back now, we could see 2 very wide open Super 3 class races here.
Yeah, absolutely. Colston with a fantastic result to finish A in the top 10 in just the whole race. There's a lot more than 10 Super 2 drivers, so getting into the 10 will still be a challenge for any driver realistically. But yeah, we're gonna see some more battles. I think we'll see throughout the year, particularly, and obviously throughout races, but throughout the year we'll see our overseas competitors step it up as they come to grips with the V8 supercar and how it drives. So I think we'll see the likes of perhaps Felix Kim's, Christian Alvarez, and Laszlo really step up their pace. But it's good to see the Super 3 field shaking it up together and getting some reasonably clean battles out of the way from what I saw. The whole field, the fact there was no safety cars there was fantastic. Let's hope they can keep that up.
Yeah, so about 8.5 more laps of racing not 8.5. Good. 6.5 laps more racing, 7.5 more laps more racing than what we got last week. So good effort from all the drivers. We're probably a little bit lucky with some incidents that happened on the first lap that could have been worse that sort of worked out. But good to see we're able to avoid the dreaded safety car there. So we'll just take a short break. Just going to go and sort out the grid for race number 2. Don't go anywhere. We still have 2 more development series races to come. And welcome back to the opening round of the 2022 Australasian Sim Racing Development Series. In, of course, the sim known as Automobilista, the first one, the good one, not the second bad one, the one you can mod and all that kind of stuff, where we've seen, well, outside really the first 3 cars in Super 2, Snipes and myself have seen a really cracking race in the midfield in Super 2, but in particular, the battle for Super 3, Snipes. Very, very interesting, and going to be one to look out for all night long.
Yeah, no doubt. Colston with first blood. It'll be good. That'll be good for Colston getting that one off the back, winning one early up. That's great for the confidence. He's got the pace to be around the front too. Obviously, Cracker's got a bit of experience. When I started racing in Super 2, Cracker was this sounds bad. Cracker was one of the first people I ever overtook, so I took note of that because I don't know, it was a cool moment when you overtake someone. But when I started racing, he was racing, so he's got a bit of experience in the supercar. And don't let the Super 3 fool you. He's definitely got a bit. If he can keep it out of trouble, he will be definitely challenging right up there in the top of Super 3, no doubt.
He's had some, obviously I've been here, ASR since pretty much the start, and yeah, he might not be the fastest driver out there, but he's had some drives out there where he's beaten some pretty established drivers. Of course, in the old TSAC days, in the sort of historic Group A series that they ran, in the old Sierra, he managed to beat everybody and win over the likes of Brenton Hobson, Scott Nolan, Rasmussen, Will Devonish, and the like. Of course, that track, Simmons Plains and the Ford Sierra did sort of go together before the Sierra was patched, but still, it's still not a bad crew of drivers to go out there and beat. And he's done some other really good, solid drives in GT3 and particularly in the front-wheel drive touring cars in TCC and TCR. He's actually picked up, I think, 1 or 2 wins in those series as well. So, pretty accomplished driver. Not the fastest out there, but certainly for the most part is a driver that doesn't get caught up in too much stuff and is quite clean. Obviously, that did have a couple incidents there in race number 1, which is quite unlike him. I was actually a little bit surprised, but still, he's actually got some solid pace there. So, he's got some positions to make up after a non-finish there, but he's got some guys to pass, and girls. So, going to be very interesting to see how Super 3 pans out. And if we can see in the Super 2 class, obviously Lockie Lock move himself forward and see if he can get himself into podium contending position. But of course, we did see Nathan Higginson put in my opinion, obviously I've seen him race here for a little while now. And of course, the Kiwi boys now looking after him, putting in probably his best drive that I've seen. And that includes the rigged Sydney Motorsport Park race from last year.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a project for the Kiwis, but he's got some pace. He's got some ability to put it together. He really does, and it's just a case of keeping him focused on the road and what he's got to do in front of him, not worrying too much about what's going on around him. Good to see him have another measured drive. I saw him have a really good one in the Bathurst 500 last year. He drove phenomenally for a whole stint or two, if I remember correctly. And yeah, no, he's got it in him. This year in Super 2, he'll be wanting to bring that to the front every time.
And drivers now formed up on to the grid. I'll just double check to make sure everything's okay. We haven't got any issues before we go through and run through the grid. Doesn't look like there's any issues, no complaining going on. So here we are, race number 2. Probably no surprises there in position number 1 with Ben Hall taking pole position and race win number 1 of the year quite comfortably. I think it was just over 10 seconds ahead of Nathan Higginson, who joined him on the front row. Black and green seem to be the colours of this series, seems to help you along. So red no longer makes you go fast, it's green, with Darren Kemp there in 3rd place, getting his championship off to a solid start. Good to see him back up there. Justin Cecil in 4th, and I think that's his strongest result here, or one of his strongest results definitely, in the Super 2/Development Series. He'll start from P4 just ahead of Cheese. So they were involved in battle pretty much all race long, involving Matt Cecil as well. Lockie Lock will be looking to move forward. He'll start from position number 7. And then we have the human yo-yo in Phil Boat, who looked like he could get himself into the top 5 and then would go off the road but then get himself up again and then go off the road again. start position 8 from this one, just ahead of Taipan in 9th. Of course, our Super 3 winner, our first Super 3 winner, Mike Coulson, will start inside the top 10, just inside the top 10 in 10th place, ahead of Laszlo Teglas, with Brody in 3rd place in class. Brody is another one that was a bit up and down. He'll be looking forward to a more smoother drive. Another real man, he'll start from 13th place. Of course, he's got more pace in that thing. There's one or two things in that last race that we did not see that caught him up in that one. Same with Darren Loughnane. He, of course, was involved in the opening lap incident which dropped him down the field. Still recovered to 14th. In 15th, Rollerzak. But Severs behind the wheel. Jaeger will start from P16. I would imagine he'll work his way forward. He's another one that had some incidents. Same with Noah Turra. We hope for a clean run. We do know he's got top 5, even top 3 pace. But he's got a lot of cars to pass in a short amount of time. Phil D will start from position 18 ahead of Christian Alvarez, another one of the quickest Super 3 drivers. So he'll be behind to our 4 with Melody Smith starting in 20th place for Yon Motorsport. Felix Kims, in his, I believe his first race in ASR, will start from 21st ahead of there. He got a cracking start in race number 1, so look out for him to move up some spots straight away. Cracker in the baby shit green PBF Academy Scotch Smugglers will start from 23rd. He's got pace in Super 3, as does Steve Warwick. Top 5 pace, but unfortunately caught up in an incident there on lap 4. He'll start 24th ahead of Brendan Dostal, who did have some hardware issues. Hopefully he's able to get through this one without any issues and cleanly. So now, all we wait for, Snipes, is for these guys to form up.
And here we go, lights are on. It's going to be interesting to see who gets a better start. Hago will want to get a good one. He's got the inside line. We're away.
No jump starts this time. Poor start from Kemp Cheese. A decent start, but Ben Hall will lead into turn 1. Will they get through? Turn 1 clean? No, they won't.
That's a disaster.
There's Cheese off. There's also contact with Kemp and I think Justin Cecil there as well. But with that chaos, Higginson's actually found himself into the lead. They're going to go side by side here. He's deep onto brakes. A bit of a block pass on the wall. The inside for turn 4 and around goes Justin Cecil. I think in the background there. It's all happening at the start. Phil Boakes got himself in a 4th place after that. Also got cars, a number of cars wide here going into turn 5. And a number of cars trying to do the Alex Zanardi there in the exit turn 5. In fact, they're 3-4 wide here at the Super 3 class here. As Noah Turra makes a move on Laszlo Teglas. A little bit further ahead, we've got Matt Cecil, Mike Coulston. He's had a great start, and Taipan duking it out for P6 here.
Coulston is up spots again.
Got Boak off the road
People
again.
off the road up front, yeah.
So the human yo-yo continues. But we'll try and actually find a replay of the start to see what happened to Cheese there. So got
Ayrton is up to P8 from starting at the back of the grid just by keeping it out of trouble.
Justin Cecil around again, so he's looking to make a move on Kings here. Just dropped it on his own. May have been spooked by a fast charging Cheese there, but just jumped to a replay of the start. So bear with us here for a second here. It's going to take us a little while to get there, but what did happen to old Cheese?
Oh, Ben Hall is off the road at the second to last corner. So sorry. Nathan Higginson now with a reasonable advantage out front. He's still got his brake flutters. I saw them going on through the last corner.
Call defensive, so got Kemp up the inside, and he's also got his teammate there as well. A little bit further back, the car's gone side by side through the final corner. Kemp deep under brakes at turn 1. He's able to pull it up, and well, that could be. We could see if Higginson keeps it on the road here, and Kemp does Kemp things and just blocks like crazy. He's got the perfect rear gunner here, Nathan Higginson.
Yeah, if there's a man you want behind you, it's certainly Darren Kemp. You know he's going to fight tooth and nail for every position, especially when he's up the front. He's not going to be giving anything away. He won't care how fast you are. So with Nathan Higginson going off the road, it's going to be really important that he keeps his composure through this. Tries to just drive well, line up his next turn, Get it right. You've got no pressure from behind you right now.
Yeah, his heart rate might be a little bit up here, and he senses that he's a chance of a race win, but if he keeps dropping it off the road, he's going to give, well, he's not going to give himself much time to hold on. It's a big dive.
It's gone deep. It's too deep. He's off the road again.
Lock both fronts up.
He might lose another spot here.
And he might lose to Cecil, Matt Cecil.
He's going to lose, yeah, multiple spots there. He's going to go down to P5. Disaster for Ben Hall. Perhaps a little bit of a level, a bit of a challenge coming forward. We know he's got the pace to be right up there. He's still got the time.
So this is it. Maybe a case of Sebastian Vettel syndrome, where if all goes well, he's able to go out there and smoke the field. But if he has a little bit of adversity or makes a slight mistake, he sort of falls off the wagon. His wheels start to fall off the wagon a little bit. But Higo hasn't really driven too much away yet. 1.7 seconds clear of Kemp, who's got Lockie Lock all over the back of him, who's all out sideways, and that's going to allow Matt Cecil to try and make a move. It's not quite close enough, but forces Lock to go defensive. They're going to go side by side to the final corner around the outside. Thank you very much. Matt Cecil now up into third place. So now Ford, second and third. Luke McHugh Racing, fourth and fifth.
Yeah, and Lockie Lock immediately having a peek up the inside. He's just getting inside Matt Cecil's mirrors there, trying to throw him off his game a little bit, try and set it up down into 9, but doing that may have actually compromised him to Hall, and it has.
I wonder if he lifted out of that as well, because he did slow down actually quite suddenly once he realised his teammate was coming there. Smart thing to do, because he would have been overtaken anyway, but...
Yeah, might be just very good driving awareness from Locke there. Further back, you'll see Mike Toulston still leading the Super 3 field. He's sitting up in P8 and holding it really well. He's got Ayrton Filippi just behind him. I imagine Ayrton will be wanting to get a move on and get past him sooner rather than later. So he'd probably just want to let him go. But in saying that, it is in a way all for position. So
another man we haven't mentioned either, Steve Warwick, who started the back after DNF, up 14 spots. He's avoided a bit of the carnage. And it's a
great drive from Steve. Yes. That's good effort.
As we see Filippi now making a move on Coulston. He gets the job done for position number 8. A little bit further back, Darren Lachlan in second place in the Super 3 class. After a little bit of a poor run and a bit of bad luck in race 1. Now in second place, so FG Falcons seem pretty strong here in the Super 3 class.
Yeah, and we seem to have another battle on our hands with Laszlo Tegler getting reasonably close to him. Laszlo looks like he may have set up a slightly better run, but he's not going to be close enough. In fact, Phil D is getting up his inside. It's a class difference in car, but they've still got the same amount of power, I believe. So still going to make these moves smartly if you are a Super 2 vehicle.
Yep, physics are the exact same for the two classes, and Cracker not too far away from this battle pack as well here, so he'll be looking to get in on the action as Noah Turra looks to get by. Fastest lap of the race for Nathan Hickinson, 57.4.
Yeah, that's a good lap. He's etched out a 2.5 second lead over Kemp, who's also got probably another second and a bit to Matt Cecil there, who still has the two Luke McHugh Racing Commodores behind him, with Ben Hall really up on him. Matt Cecil not really going defensive, but he's interesting driving. He's kind of seemed to be in two minds as to whether he's letting him go or not. He's definitely racing him. I feel Matt could have probably turned it. He left a lot of room for Ben. I feel Ben's going to be very safe around you. So if you're going to race him, you can do it, Matt.
Yeah, so that's a replay of that. It didn't really defend all that much into turn 3. Looked like actually Ben Hall a little bit of a lock up there as well. So he's skating in on the rears and then was able to go around the outside at turn number 4. And another lock up there at turn 9. He's fighting the car at the moment. Hickinson 2.6 clear of Kemp. It will be interesting to see what Ben Hall can do now. He's got a little bit of clear air, but of course it does have HMA's Kemp right in front of him.
Yes, and he will be parking that battleship on the defensive line once Ben Hall gets close, and you can count on Ben Hall getting close. He can definitely drive the circuit quickly. It's been a reasonable recovery for him. He'll want to be finishing on P2, probably P1. He'll still have a win in his sights. We're not even at the halfway point of this race yet, so he'll know that he can possibly catch Higo. Higo's got to just keep doing what he's doing.
It's actually Hickinson's Higgins actually lost a bit of time there in that middle sector, dropped a couple tenths to Kemp. So Kemp is starting to find his feet a little bit. He's going to have to, because he's got hard charging Hall in behind him. So over the line, Higginson 57.9, a 57.7 for Kemp, and new fastest lap 56.9 for Ben Hall. So I think Matt Cecil may have just backed out of that battle just to try and tag onto the back of Hall and hope to catch Kemp down the road.
We have Noah Turra in 12th here, trying to make a move by the Super 3 guys. Interesting little pack here that's getting together. Phil D kind of just got past them and is kind of pulling away. Darren Longton leading the Super 3 pack again here, behind Mike Coulston, of course. So he's P2 overall at Super 3, but leading this little battle pack of Super 3 runners.
Of course, he can't afford to just give the position up. He's got Cracker and Teglas right behind him. So Turra having to work his way through the Super 3 field.
Oh!
I don't know if there was contact or if Cracker just lost it on his own on the exit of 3 there. But we're right on board and find out. Just on his own. A bit too much gassing on the marbles there. So back behind Teglas, who's just locked up. And behind him, Heather Elmian and Christian Alvarez with Rhodey there in 17th overall. And she's looking to recover.
I'm not sure what's happened with Nether there. I'm going to have to go check that out. He's weirdly hit the wall or something.
Oh, he's done a Maldonado. I think he's just clipped the grass there on the exit of 6. And it sent that car around and into the wall. And I do want, he may have some
yes.
damage. He's coming into the pits. We've got Zdrolazak out. That's both Rhodey and Alvarez very wide on the exit of 12. And that's Rhodey up into P15 now behind
Cheese is ranging right up behind Alvarez. He's going to want to clear these Super 3 runners ASAP. In fact, he's trying to clear them a bit too much. He goes deep, nearly hits Rhodey. Not ideal there for Cheese. Just focus forward, mate, and keep it on the road. He can definitely get past them. He just needs to do it cleanly.
Mistakes like that aren't going to help him, but Noah Turra and Phil D now not too far away from Phil Boat, but of course they're still behind Mike Coulston, who's doing a really solid job. Phil Boat on the last lap at 2:10.3, so he's having to venture something.
We have a battle for 2nd and 3rd, as well as a battle for 4th and 5th now going on. Ben Hall has hit the wall!
Just a bit of the excitables there, too much loud pedal action. So Kemp was defensive into 3, and again Hall sideways on the exit, and then he's done not a Kamui Kobe actually, he's done a Kazuki Nakajima there. He's still not too far away, and in fact Higginson has actually lost time again. 1.5 seconds between himself and Kemp. He's not buying himself much time here. If Hall does manage to get by Kemp.
Yes, Higginson's still suffering from some hardware faults. He's got a brake flutter that still pops up on him down the straight, which will be guaranteed losing him time. He's coming up on Felix Kims here. He'll be hoping that Felix just gets out of the way. Higginson is very adamant about getting past.
And Kemp has had a scruffy run through 11 and 12, and he's having to go defensive here into 13 as it looks like Kims goes off the road.
Hall's got him up the inside here. Kemp goes down. Oh, no he doesn't. Apologies. Thought he was a bit closer up there, but Hall is definitely wanting to get past him. He's putting the pressure on, applying the blowtorch.
Yeah, there's no looking forward at the moment, I think, from Darren Kemp. It's all looking back. There's only a couple laps to go. And I think he's quite content in 2nd place. Matt Cecil still holding on to position 4 ahead of Locke. The big question mark is, can Hall get by Kemp? There's Higginson around. Higginson's dropped it at turn 1. He's got ahead of himself. And Lockie Locke, I don't know what he was thinking there. There's a car parked right in front, and he's managed to scoop into it. But let's have a look. So he's gone a racing 3. Oh, he's come in too hot, and then just tried to turn it in with the rears that were gone.
Disaster, absolute disaster for Nathan Higginson. He will be ruined. This is now a massive test for his mentality. How well can he bounce back? He doesn't want to drive angry. He's still got a little bit of time to recover a spot, maybe 2. He'll want to scoop up Lockie Lock sooner rather than later, and he has.
And, well, that is why, with a couple of laps to go, if you're Darren Kemp, you fight tooth and nail to hold on to second position, because you do not know what could happen. And now finds himself in the lead with a lap and a half to go. And Matt Cecil now is broken free of, see, Lockie Lock, who may have quite a bit of damage after that contact with Higginson there. He's dropped off the back of Cecil and now finds himself behind Higginson, who's still in a solid 4th place, but he'll be kicking himself with that unforced error.
Yeah, look, there's a battle for the lead that is brewing here again. Ben Hall is ranging up on Darren Kemp. We've still got time in this race for a move to happen. There's still 2 full race laps to go at the line. So, you know, if you're Darren Kemp, the pressure is on right now. This is
very defensive. He's very defensive into the penultimate corner. I thought for a moment he's going to run wide, but as you can see, he's understeering, he's oversteering, and he is just defensive everywhere. And Hall not taking the slipstream, which is a surprise because actually quite a bit in these cars.
Yeah, you definitely want to be in the slipstream if you're wanting to make a move. Perhaps he's just thinking of setting him up, and look, Kemp's going wide again. He's struggling. He's parking the car on the defensive line and he's struggling to pull it up. The tyres are starting to wear now. Ben Hall with a really good run here. Kemp, of course, on the inside. Where else? Now, Ben looking for probably a switchback if he gets this right. Ben, well done from Kemp. He's parked it.
Kemp's done enough racing to just, you know, if in doubt, just park it on the apex, and Hall's going to have to do this the hard way here. Matt Cecil hoping that these guys probably wipe each other out. Looks like he's struggling at the moment because even with these guys battling, he's dropping off the back of these two. But Darren Kemp struggling massively. We've got Philbo out of the race just down the field. Another poor run out of 6 for Kemp. He's going to have to immediately go defensive. Hall will have to go around the outside if he wants to get this victory. He's going to try it here. A little bit of contact.
He's too deep.
The road. And Kemp will hold on, barring mistake. Or he should hold on. He'll have about a second and a half or so to Ben Hall now. Matt Cecil in 3rd. Higginson a couple seconds away from Matt Cecil. Lockie Lock still in P5, but we've got Steve Warwick and Ayrton Filippi battling out for P6 here. Filippi having a look up the inside.
Hard place for a move, but he's got it done.
But
Warwick's down there. He's got too deep.
Old head. And seeing that move coming, Warwick setting it up and just goes straight back up the inside. And he'll
well done, Steve. That was a really good move. Just showing him how it's done there, eh? Showing him how to defend smartly.
At least for a couple corners anyway. But Kemp now only one more corner to go. And once again, masterclass of defensive driving. He's been able to snag a win in unlikely circumstances. Well done for Darren Kemp, race winner in number 2. Hall will come home second in race 2. Matt Cecil, very well-earned podium here in 3rd place. Higginson will be ruining that mistake on the penultimate lap into turn number 1. So, yeah, somebody get him, I don't know, a drink or some chocolate or some comfort food, because he'll be depressed. Lockie Lock home in 5th place after spirited battle with Matt Cecil. Steve Warwick able to hold on over Ayrton Filippi for P6. Noah Turra recovering to 8th place ahead of Mike Coulston, 2 from 2 in Super 3. And looking quite comfortable there, ahead of Darren Loughnane in 2nd place. So 2 top 10 finishes for our Super 3 runners. Cracker home without a bonnet there in third place overall in Super 3. So he just decided to end his life there. End of the race. Cheese home in 12th. Up and down race for him. Phil D home in 13th, up 5 spots. Alvarez home in 14th ahead of Justin Cecil. And Luke Yeager in 16th. Laszlo Teglas 17th. Rody home in 18th. With Taipan in 19th. Another up and down performance. Netherelmian home in 20th. With Melody Smith in 21st. Phil Boak, of course, a non-finisher. Brandon Dostal, not sure what happened to him, but another non-finish. Felix Kims, another non-finish, and as well with Stroller Zach in 25th. So, Snipes, fantastic race for the Super 3 class in race 1. but in race number 2, it was all about Super 2, and it was looking quite comfortable for Higginson for most of the race. Late error, but we did see a fast finish with Kemp and Hall duking it out for the final few laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely lots of battling up the front in Super 2. After Higginson made his mistake, he will be kicking himself. There is no doubt. He had that race reasonably in the bag with a reasonable enough lead with Darren Kemp defending for his life behind him. But unfortunately, sometimes you just get it wrong. And look, he still finished P4, so in the end, that's not a bad result. Good battling at the end with Kemp and Hall. I see potentially there was a bit of a shenanigans at turn 1, so at the start of the race that perhaps some drivers that finished up the front were involved in. So that'll be intriguing to see how it goes. But good racing overall. Another race without a safety car too. Super good to see.
Yeah, fantastic effort from all the drivers out there to go 2 races so far without a safety car, which is fantastic to see after last week's effort. So, still, 1 or 2 incidents for some drivers that they'll be looking back on and regretting, but overall, fantastic effort from the drivers. Good racing in both Super 2 and Super 3. So that's 2 races done, 1 more to go. But we'll take a short break, but we'll be back for the race 3 from Albert Park. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to round number 1 of season 22 for the ASR Development Series. We've had 2 very intriguing races, thankfully safety car free so far, with Ben Hall taking pole position, as well as race number 1 in the Super 2 class, with Mike Coulson so far in Super 3 taking 2 from 2. And in race number 2 there in Super 2, of course, we did see a fantastic battle between Darren Kemp and Ben Hall at the death, with Higginson leading the majority of the race but couldn't take advantage of the massive free kick that his start and Darren Kemp gave him with a late error, unfortunately dropping him down the field down to, I think it was 4th place in the end.
And, one more race to go.
Yeah, one more race. We've had really good racing so far.
Really good, yeah. A lack of safety cars has almost been a surprise after last week. Perhaps the field have got it out of their system, but also the field will be aware that this is the final race. There is that chance that people will be pushing that little bit harder. You're not going to get another race to redeem yourself as such from this point. So you want to be finishing, or every race you want to finish as high up as possible. But when there is no race afterwards, perhaps people will push a little bit harder. We may see some mistakes. Historically, I've seen on nights where we've been good with the safety car, the last race can cause some headaches. So we'll see how they keep it, see if everyone's still got a cool head after some excellent racing throughout the evening.
Yeah, but particularly the final race of the night, if you've had a poor night, sometimes people can be like, well, I've got nothing to lose out here, so I'm just going to go out there and have a massive go. And that's where you see some fireworks, as well as some other silly stuff as well. So hopefully we see a lot of the fireworks, not so much of the old silly stuff. But yeah, not too far away from race number 3. And Ben Hall so far got a good start solid start in race number 1. Got a better start in race number 2, but somehow found himself behind Higginson down there at turn 3. So he must have made a mistake that we didn't see. We didn't catch a replay of the start down there. And from there it was race on. So very intriguing 2 races so far this evening. Just waiting on a couple of drivers that have had some game crashes here in the warm-up in the lead-up to race number 3 to get back into the server. So there's one of them, that's Christian Alvarez, and we're just waiting on Taipan to jump back into the server, and we'll be back up and running here for the final race of the evening. Well, Snipes, you've had 2 races now under your belt here in the Dev Series. Who's been one outside, of course, the Ben Halls, and of course Darren Kemp, our 2 race winners in Super 2. Who's caught your eye, and who might you be thinking of chucking in the post-race press conference?
Oh look, there's a few good options from the first race. Let me tell you, Matt Cecil has held his ground really well. He's finished well inside the top 10 both races, and both races he's gone forward. Now, not necessarily by a lot, but when you're in the top 10, you can't go very far forward. So the fact he's reasonably well kept his nose clear, and he finds himself fighting for these positions he got a podium last race. That's definitely one to consider. Also, Lachlan Locke, after a 16, moving up 16 spots in one race, is definitely an interesting. It would be interesting to hear about. He kept well in the top 5 for the second race, so I'm sure he'll have some stories to tell. That'd probably be my 2 front runners. Phil Boak would be interesting to talk to as well. As you say, he's been bouncing up and down. Unfortunately, a DNF last race, but he has been certainly in the thick of it tonight, so he could have some interesting stories depending on how his third race goes.
Yeah, certainly been an eventful return to racing for Phil Boak, the human yo-yo, and hopefully he'll be able to have a nice clean run here in race number 3. Have also seen Brandon Dostal retire from the first 2 races. Of course, in race number 1 did have a hardware problem that we caught on stream at the time, where I've had it myself with some Logitech gear in the past where it would shut itself off, and in game the car would turn itself hard left and the throttle would go to, or it'd be locked on to about half or sometimes full, and that was it. So that's what happened in race number 1, and he had a DNF in race 2, which hopefully wasn't the same thing, but if it is, unfortunate. But here we go, there's the Sirens of Destiny, and these drivers now about a minute or so away from beginning the formation lap for race number 3.
Get your race socks on, we go on again. Third race, final one of the evening, and we will now have, after this, we'll have, well, results for a whole round. We'll start to see what this championship is looking like. There's already been some serious indicators, but who can pull it out in this third race is going to be interesting. Now, I see Cheese back in P12, so he drove back from last, in the first lap last race, to get back to P12 for this race. So I see him as very much someone who could get himself back up towards that top 5 with some good runs. He might be one to watch out for.
Yeah, certainly did have some good pace there in race number 1, but yeah, he's got a bit of work to do, and he's actually in amongst some of the leading Super 3 runners, which has been quite comfortable so far for Mike Goulston, although he's now got Darren Loughnane and Cracker right behind him here on the grid. For race number 3, so if they all get a good clean start, we could see an epic battle there for Super 3. But moments away now from the formation lap getting underway. Still got who's out there?
Ayrton.
Yeah, Ayrton. Yeah, he's missed the start. He's in the pit lane. Was going to start in P7, but here we go. Race 3, final race of the night. Snipes, run us through the grid for race 3.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Lewis. Darren Kemp, the leading defender of ASR, will be defending from the front, and you guarantee it's going to be a big one. P1 for him for this race. Ben Hall starting alongside him in P2. He'll be looking at getting a good start. Try and get past Darren as soon as possible. Matt Cecil, P3, great result last race, he will be looking at holding on to that and hopefully getting a good start, getting past the 2 fellas up front. Nathan Higginson, heartbreak last race, starting P4 here, still a really good spot for some good points. Lockie Lock, he has pace here. He could certainly be further up than 5th come the end of this race if he can keep it out of trouble. Steve Warwick, P6, he's also had a lot of pace, man. There's a lot of people that are really, really good in this league, and Steve Warwick, certainly a big up-and-comer. He's got a good chance to move up in this race also. Ayrton Filippi starting from the pit lane, but out of P7. Noah Turra, P8, very quick as well. Mike Coulston, the leading Super 3 runner and the championship leader at this point in time, starting out of P9. Darren Loughnane starting out of P10 in this second Super 2 entry with Cracker out of P11. So awesome, Super 3, awesome Super 3 turnout there, all line astern. Cheese out of P12. He'll be wanting to get past the Super 3 guys sooner rather than later. With Phil D in P13, Christian Alvarez in P14, Justin Cecil in P15. He'll be looking to move forwards also. Luke Yeager in P16. He's at a quiet running that we've seen at least. Laszlo Teglis, P17. Rody in P18. Taipan, he'll be wanting to move forward. He's been a bit of the wars tonight, but he's got more pace than P19. Netherrealmian starting out of P20. Come on, Nether, you can do it. Melody Smith, P21. Brandon Dostal in his debut night, Jeepers Creepers, in P22. Felix Kims in 23, making some contact there with Brad Severs whilst weaving on the formation lap in P24, and we have a 24 car field for this race.
Yeah, so I think who is not in it for this one.
Buck.
Cannot remember.
Bill Buck.
Yeah, Phil Boak not here, of course. He does have a little one to look after, and he's getting a little bit late. So drives now forming up onto the grid. And of course, Ayrton Filippi will be waiting quite a while there, starting from the pit lane. In AMS, at least at most tracks, you've got to wait until the leader gets to the end of the first sector before the lights tick green. Although at Snetterton, I realised that It's actually turn 1, so they've got it done properly there. It's a Razor DLC track, so they figured out a way how to sort it. But anyway, we're about to go racing for the 3rd time tonight. Who will get the jump? And
Paul's had a great one.
A poor start from Kemp. He's got some liquid straps coming out the back of that car. Matt Cecil also had a solid start. And Australasian has gone nowhere. He's stalled off the line. And 3 wide into turn 1, 4 wide even, a little bit further back. And looks like there's already been some movers and shakers already.
Yeah, Cheese up to P8, starting P12, so that's 4 spots in the first couple of corners. Real good effort. He'll be wanting to just keep out of trouble, keep picking people off through this. The front few have largely started to drive away. Ben Hall immediately getting a lead out from Matt Cecil.
Safety car has been called, so it looks like something's happened here. Rhodey's off the circuit down there. Ayrton Felipe is going to be able to get back into the game there. We've also got Taipan and Teglas a little bit further back as well. So just going to come to a replay and find out what happened.
I think we found it, Lewis. Brad Sevis was also still on the start-finish line there, so just stopped there. Still on the grid.
2. So, oh dear. So what's happened here? So it looks like Teglas is wide, and then he gassed it up while off the circuit by the look of it. I'll just try and gassed it up while it's off the circuit and then just spun back onto the racing line. And that was Rhodey Alvarez again, and then poor old Taipan has been in the wars tonight, all getting back round. So Brad has... Yeah,
I think he's parked it.
Yeah, he's out. So obviously stalled it and hasn't mapped a starter button. That is what you get when you don't run auto clutch. Unfortunately, don't really get an advantage turning auto clutch off, and if you don't have the old starter and ignition mapped, it can cause some problems. But I know some people are saying that may be the cause of it, but I think it was actually the Rhodey Alvarez Taipan incident with multiple cars spun with multiple cars around the cars that were stopped on the circuit that caused it, as well as, of course, there being a car still parked on the start-finish line. So, first safety car of the night, and for some, it's going to help. For others, it's not really going to mean a lot, but it's certainly going to spice things up here with these guys going to have much better tyres at the end of the race here, Snopes.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's already a sprint, but yeah, you can go a bit less conservatively now. Some people that have moved up. Luke Yeager has definitely moved up some positions from where he started. He's up to P11. Mike Colston's still holding a spot in the 10 as our leading Super 3 runner. We're going to be behind the safety car for a while, so it'd be intriguing to see where a lot of these runners have gone. Obviously, Ayrton Felipe now, essentially P last 23. He's going to have some work to do, but watch out for him. He'll be sending it.
Well, at least he'll be on the back of the queue, where if it had just been a green flag run, he probably would have been just stuck wherever. It would have been last on circuit, barring someone having a major drama or having to pit. So he's got a chance now to redeem himself and get himself back into the top 15, top 10 if he has a really clean run, but he's not going to have much time. Drivers after last week should know the safety car procedure now. So
yeah, we're going to see how rusty it is. Hopefully, they're well practiced after last week, you'd have to think.
Yeah,
but we'll put it to the test in just a couple of laps time. Let's hope it's a quick safety car.
So of course the for the ASR series, it does have a random lap assigned to how many laps the safety car is out for. So it can be as low as 2 laps directly behind the safety car, or it can be as much as 4. Lights are still on the safety car, so we'll get at least one more full lap behind the safety car.
Nathan Higginson just pushing up behind Darren Kemp reasonably closely. Just maybe a little bit of gamesmanship going on.
I wouldn't say it's gamesmanship. It does seem to be a bad habit. should just stick right behind people on the safety car and warm-up laps. You should probably just, there's no need at this stage. Safety car's not coming in. Just give each other a heap of space here. Because of course, if a driver does cause an incident behind the safety car, it is a significant penalty. As drivers in the past have found out, Ben Hall last year causing quite a significant accident in the main series race at Adelaide, running into the back of a number of drivers at full speed behind the safety car after making a pit stop, and that found himself with a DQ, and I think he even had maybe even had a round ban after that as well. So yeah, you don't want to be messing around here. Drivers have to slow down and take evasive action. The safety car very slowly clips through the first chicane.
Yeah, I like to give a few car lengths to someone in front and hope the person behind me gives a few car lengths too. No reason to be right up someone's jacksie at this point in time. You know, we're all going around at 40 k's an hour, so just chill out.
And even if you hang back too far, and the game does warn you, drivers have been instructed that you know, once a safety car is called, that they are to hold position regardless of what the game says. And even further into the protocols, if there's a pit stop for whatever reason, and two drivers are side by side, whether he's on circuit and as the driver leaves the pit lane, the driver on circuit has the right of way, and regardless of what the game says, the driver who was out on circuit holds that position. So there shouldn't be anyone looking to try and gain out of this. Any penalties given because of that will be cleared by one of the admins in the server, which at this point is Brendan Ross. I know he's watching along. So, hello Rossi. Hopefully they're not giving you too much trouble down there. But while we do have some free time here, Snipes, I know some people have heard rumours about what I've said about each one of these liveries, because I know a lot of people call me a little bit of a livery Nazi, which, I'll be honest, is quite true. I do like a well-presented car, so I've got a lap here. Lights are still on the safety car, so why not? I'll go through and in a public forum, I'll go and let everyone know what their livery is like. So,
fantastic idea, Lewis. I don't think you've come up with better.
So here we go. We'll go in order of every car on the circuit. So Ben Hall and the Luke McHugh racing cars. Now these cars from the side are quite nice. But the problem with these Luke McHugh racing cars is that they've got a case of, they just don't know what they're doing. There's just too many livery concepts they're trying on one car. With you've got 2021 or 2020 Red Bull on the sides combined with 2016 Red Bull, and then you've got the old Luke McHugh / Lockie Lock sort of front end on it. And it is a little bit clunky, and the old text on the front of the bonnet. No, we're going green, so there we go. There's one livery down. If we get another safety car later on, I'll be able to get it all done.
Look, I'm excited for the rest. That was a good taste.
We've only got 30 to go, but will drivers adhere to what's been, banged into their minds at this point by the admin team? So Hall waiting until the line. Looks like no. Oh no!
He's gone now.
We've got Dostal and Phil D, and Phil D's then just gone and accelerated. He's gone and accelerated back into the field. That is some rather silly driving. So let's have a look here. So Dostal's going to get bumped by. Dostal's going to bump Phil D because Dostal accelerates a little bit, and well, even then, Dostal should have been giving more room. Actually, Phil, my mistake, he actually didn't have any throttle on and just had nowhere to go. Tried the whole position, all the cars behind had nowhere to go, and that'll be a pretty hefty penalty for Brendan Dostal there. And Rossi yelling at me saying I didn't update the safety car. That's because on my Automobilista directory I've not installed the updated supercar. It's only on the beta. So that's why the updated safety car is not there. But we're back under safety car conditions.
Here we go.
So, well, I can finish off, really, the Ben Hall livery. So, of course, what I was about to say before I saw the safety car peel in is that the text on the front here, being red, the white outline, and with these colours, you cannot read it. You cannot read it when you're looking at it from TV cameras, so may need to look at adjusting that. The APK SimSport livery with Matt Sis behind the wheel. Got a number of Napa cars and Napa sponsored or backed drivers this year, and pretty solid liveries. You can't really go wrong with white, blue and yellow. And again, hasn't got too many logos on it, oversaturating it or making it just look all messy. And again, one of the better looking liveries in the field. I do happen to like that one. On to his teammate, Darren Kemp. From the front, I do like it. Very reminiscent of a number of actual real-life Super 2 liveries. Of course, it does have a good cause on it. But my only gripe with the livery is actually the massive heart up on the rear wheels. It does look a little bit out of place. But nice, simple livery, not overcomplicated. But yeah, nice, solid entry there. Not the best, not the worst, but definitely on the slightly better scale. And obviously the Taipan and Higginson HME powered by KSS entries share the same styling, albeit different colours. And I do like the design. The styling of it and the trim is quite good. The colours, particularly on Nathan Higginson's car, do work quite well. But my main gripes with the livery is a lot of the logos and the sizing. So the Horizon Radeon on the front, from racing speed, you cannot read at all. The Bursons on the front, again, a little bit too small. And the Higginson Media Engineering on the side, on the front quarter panel, you just cannot read, as Higginson was running to the back of Kemp there, so cut to a replay shot of that. So, oh dear. I reckon I know what happened there. I reckon Nathan Higginson's listening to this broadcast, and I am almost certain that
he's heated. He is on fire.
Yeah, that is 100% the case, because I know a lot of drivers here in this Dev Series and Super 2, and I know Higginson's done it in the past, but I know a number of the drivers in the field do listen to this while they're driving. I don't advise it. It's not needed in a sprint series format. But going back onto livery, the Logitech on the side, can't really read it too well, but it's not the worst. But the PlayStation logo, you definitely cannot see. And then, other than that, not too bad. Autodesk on the rear wing could probably get resized if it's a little bit too big. But outside of that, pretty handy. I'll do pretty handy livery. I like the design. Just some of the logos need to be sorted out. Of course, the Lucky Lock car is very similar, practically the same as Ben Halsey's teammate, albeit with the mainly white rear trim compared to the black, and some obviously different sponsors. His bonnet is a lot better than Ben Hall's, but still, a lot of the livery, it's got an amalgamation of 3 or 4 different liveries, and it couldn't decide which one, so they decided just to chuck them all on. So it can be messy at points, but not terrible. But yeah, just didn't know what to do with it. And here we go. So Steve Warwick, Warwick Racing Team, Black Shores entry. Of course, this car eerily similar to previous iterations, albeit different colours, I believe. Mainly white car, nice design on this one. I'd say probably my favourite design in the field. The 2 different shades of blue work well with the white, and the trim on the sides is very well done. You can clearly see the Black Shores on the side. Bonnet, some of the logos you can't quite read at racing speed, but you can read it on the sun visor there. So good entry there. And now we move on to the LLM Juniors Academy. Not a bad livery, again, number of cars with black, green and white. The front end, in my opinion, is a little bit too much done with it, and I think the stripes on the bonnet, the green ones in particular, they need to be rounded off and pointed a little bit better. And a big gripe for me is the big white around the outside of the grill. I can see what he's trying with that, but just doesn't quite work on the livery. But outside of that, not a bad effort. Colours, as we know, work fairly well, and the logos, for the most part, they are the appropriate size. The only issue, Lucky Lock Motorsport on the back, because it's green and black, can't really read it all that well, and the big L checkered flag on the rear there, probably just a little bit too big. But outside of that, nice livery. Onto the TV Sim Sports Nissan of Cheese. We've seen the thrower running the same layout of livery, albeit different colours. Now this one, not the biggest fan of the yellow on the sides, and the transmit can be pretty difficult to read, especially the New Zealand Limited on the right hand side there. Not the worst design, but yeah, mainly just the colouring of the logos can make it a bit difficult. But I do like the Infinity and Beyond, which they do share as well on their Mustangs as well. Rear end of the car though, and the sizing of the logos is pretty good, but yeah, it's just mainly the size, side logos and the colour that sort of ruin this one. The Peter Thrall one, which has blue on the side, reminds me heavily of the, I'm not sure how much of a cricket fan you are, Snipes, but the old
I am a big cricket fan.
The late 90s New Zealand One Day International shirts.
Yeah, I know the one you're on about. They look good. I think that's iconic.
In my opinion, that is the best kit that New Zealand have had. That One Day kit was the teal, fern, and the black. And thrower's car, it just does look pretty good. Just skip ahead to see if the safety car does pull in before I continue on my massive spiel. And the safety car is pulling in.
Here we go.
We're going to get hopefully 2 laps of running. Got 8.5 minutes left to do it. And hopefully this time no issues. So at a later date we'll go over the liveries, probably next safety car period in the next round.
See when Ben Hall goes.
Here we go. Now there's not meant to be any overlapping. Luke Yeager's got
away.
A penalty, but that will get cleared. And Hall's got the jump, but can Kemp hold on to 3rd place? Higginson's up the inside. So far, everyone's got to turn 1. Does everyone get through turn 1? A little bit of lag and slowness there from Cracker. And Brody and Willie Smith. So a little bit of lag there as well, but so far so good into 3. We can all change 2 laps or less than 2 laps to go now for these runners, all to play for.
Sometimes it can be a bit hard straight after a safety car to get yourself back up to racing speed. You've just been cruising around the circuit, not really thinking about it, and then you've got to immediately switch back on to racing pace. It can be a little bit jarring. I know I've struggled with it a few times, but you know who hasn't struggled? Ben Hall. He is streaking away once again, as almost expected. Matt Cecil also pulling a gap on Higo in P2. Really, really good round so far. He'll be wanting to hold that.
An impressive restart from Matt Cecil so far. The only one that's really been vigorously keeping his tyres warm from what I saw. And able to streak away from Nathan Higginson, who's now built up a bit of a gap over HMAS Kemp, who was a bit of a lock up into 11. That's going to cost him dearly, and it's going to back the field up. But Locke not able to really capitalise on it so far, but Kemp going to have to go defensive. Locke going to have to go around the outside. See Higginson down the road, lock up and run a little bit wide, but Kemp holding on, and Steve Warwick now is right there as well. But Noah Tara also not far away.
Yeah, he's on a charge. Noah Tara started round about the top 10, maybe just outside, but he has moved forward some positions, and he's got his eyes on. He'll be lining up Steve. Steve's not an easy target though, so he'll have to be smart with his moves.
Field in front of him getting progressively faster, so it's going to be more and more difficult. Cracker and Coulston also duking it out here. Coulston wide at the final corner, and we've got a battle for the lead here in Super 3, and Lochnan is also about 1.5 seconds away as well, so we could see a photo finish there. We've also got Cheese right behind Justin Cecil, as we've got a change for the lead in Super 3.
Yeah, very good work there from Cracker to get past Coulston. Cracker's had pace all night. Now, can he ice it? He hasn't got very long to go to get through. He's got to get through like the next lap and a half. But it's on. They are boxing on for it. There's not going to be an easy fight. They bumped again into a fast corner. Difficult. Well, managed to keep it together.
They brought Lochnan in it, and he's going to have a look here at Cracker. But the side's better of it. But,
Coulston's found his way back to the front of that.
yeah, so a bit awkward, a bit of warping going on. A little bit further ahead, though, we've got Cecil and Higginson duking it out as well. Ben Hall is gone, but Higginson up into second. So what transpired here? So a bit of a replay here. Cecil a little bit sideways to that long right corner, and then a big dive from Higginson, who's a little bit locked up and on the rears, doing a bit of a block pass there on Cecil, and then as we cut live, running wide on the exit of turn 12, but able to hold on for now. But is he able to hold on for a couple of corners?
Going down the inside of Steve Warren to make contact into it. That's going to be trouble. Noah Tara can't pull it up. They're both off the road. This could be positions. Cheese behind them. Justin Cecil behind them, looking to get past. Noah Tara weak, perhaps vulnerable right now. Ooh, it's going to be close. But I think Noah Tara's consolidated. He goes defensive.
Got Ben Hall. He's going to come out and win race number 3. Higginson is going to come home in second, but got a big battle here. Got Matt Cecil, Darren Kemp, and Lockie Lock all going to the line. Photo finish, but Kemp will hold out by 1,000th of a second over
doesn't get closer than that.
Lockie Lock there.
I tell you what, I could be wrong there, but I think Lockie Lock might have bump drafted Cecil just a fraction, and that could, if on the assumption that happened, that lost him the spot. I'm just going to go have a quick gaze to see if Cecil...
Yeah, there's a little bit of contact, and it killed his momentum.
That's going to cost you more than 1,000th of a second. Absolutely spewing you'd be looking at that, knowing you've got the run, and then just that little bit of contact would be all you need.
That's running through the rest of the order. Noah Tara in 6th, Cheese in 7th, Justin Cecil home in 8th. Steve Warwick, unfortunately, with that contact right at the death there, saw him drop a couple places back down to 9th. And Darren Loughnane actually took home the win in Super 3. So we're going to find
falling down.
We're going to cut back and have a look here. Of course, we did have
Cracker's P18.
Coulston battling out on the last lap there. So what has happened here in Super 3? So go back on the replay. So already halfway through the lap. So here we go. Here we go. So coming into turn 10 or 11, the fast left-right flip-flop, looks like Cracker's done what he did in race 1. He ran up the back of the car in front, and that forced Coulston off the track. Cracker, slowly rejoined the track. Coulston kept his foot in it, but of course lost out there. So that handed the victory to Darren Loughnane after keeping his nose clean. Netherelmian home in 11th, Taipan in 12th. Coulston finishing the night in 13th, second place in class. Still a good night from him overall. Dostal able to get to the line, which is good to see, in 14th. Laszlo Teglas in 15th. Jaeger home in 16th. Felipe home in 17th after starting from the pits. Cracker in 18th after that battle at the end. Rody in 19th. Alvarez behind him in 20th place. And I'll try to run through the rest of the field. So Phil D in 21st. Kim's 22nd with, I think it was Melody Smith there in 23rd. With
you'd be correct.
Zrolazak out of the race after not being able to start the car. So there it is. Our first taste of the safety car. 2 of them in that one. But, geez, that last couple of laps there, that battle for the podium, very intense.
Yeah, absolutely. It was on for young and old there, wasn't it? There's been some standout drives tonight. There's been some excellent racing. It has been pretty intense racing throughout the field, to be honest, throughout the front of Super 3 and Super 2. It's been great to see. It
certainly has. Now, you've had a bit more time to think about it. And obviously, we'll have Hall, probably Kempy, and of course Mike Coulston, overall winner of Super 3, jumping in. But who's going to be that fourth driver that caught your eye for the evening here?
Oh, it's been tricky to pick. I almost want to talk to Nathan Higginson, but he's not here to speak to. Actually, after the wild turn of events he's had, he's been up and down. And would you look at that? Straight away he turns up. So I'm going to grab Nathan Higginson. A bit of a surprise, in fact. Sorry about that. But I figure from disaster to podiums, he's had a reasonably up and down night.
He certainly has. Well, I'll let you start where you want to start, whether that be our Super 2 winners in either Darren Kemp or Ben Hall, with Ben Hall probably taking the overall night honours. We also do have our Super 3 race night winner, Mike Coulston, in here as well. So you lead us through the interviews. Snipes.
Great, thank you. Now I'm going to start with the, I believe, the championship leader. I would believe would be correct, Ben. Mate, you lit it up in qualifying. You've been essentially, you've had the pace all week realistically over the field. You've set a good lap in qualifying. Race 1 went really quite well. Race 2 seemed to be a little bit more challenging, but you've been right up the front all night realistically. How was it from your perspective?
Oh man, that is a good way to kick off the championship. I can tell you that much. But nah, qualifying was couldn't have gone any better. Yeah, really wanted to try and get that pole, so achieved that. So that's one tick done, and yeah, race 1. Didn't have the best start. Kempy and Higo, yeah, they got the better start over me, but they kind of battled. So yeah, got the chance to drive off into the distance, and yeah, race 2. Well, I don't think needs explaining. Just overdrove the car. Just tried to make moves that weren't really on, and yeah, just went too deep and locked up, and that was pretty much the end of that. And then yeah, race 3, 2 safety cars. So probably didn't want the last race to go like that. Really wanted to kind of have a battle with Kempy and Matt again. But yeah, overall good night and good way to kick off the championship.
Oh, Ben. Hey, did you find throughout your night of racing, were there any highlights or lowlights that you spotted, you were involved in, that you're particularly remembering?
Probably probably the start of race 2 was probably the lowest point of the night for me, but probably the highest point. Probably everyone's expecting me to say the 2 race wins, but the battle for first and the last lap with Kempy, that was probably the highlight of the night. But yeah, overall, those 2 were probably the standout parts for me.
Okay, really well done tonight, Ben. I think you are going out of round 1 as a warm favourite for the title early doors. Keep it up. You're doing super well.
Just early in the season, man. Can't predict anything, but looking good so far. So hopefully we can end on top.
Oh, man, congratulations.
Thanks, boys.
Oh, all right. I'm going to move over to Darren Kemp. Darren, it's been a busy night for you, as it seems to be reasonably often. Lots of battles going on. Few incidents here and there. Do you want to tell us how it went from your perspective?
Yeah, I do. But first of all, I just want to thank my sponsors, the Alfred and the Heart Centre. My best mate had a heart transplant 12 months ago. He's actually in hospital at the moment, so I sent a cheerio to him. Darren Miller, get better, mate. But yeah, he's doing good. Yeah, the racing tonight was really, really good. I had terrible starts. I think Cheese gave me a bit of a tap in the first race, and in the second race, I gave him a blinder of a tap. So I'm a bit worried about that, but sorry about that, Cheese. I didn't do it on purpose. Just a bad start. But no, the racing was really intense. To have my first 2 podiums in the first round is amazing. Last year, it took me half a year to get a podium and a win, so I'm pretty impressed about that. But the intensity of the racing is really good. Like that last race, well, it was only for 3rd place, but 3rd, 4th, and 5th went across the line like with millimeters. It was really intense. It was good racing. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I just want to thank everyone for being really good up the front.
Good work there, Darren. Defensive as always. Can you tell us a little bit about your mindset when you're in a race and you've got people behind you? You definitely like to hold the inside line. Can you tell us a bit of kind of what your mindset is throughout a race?
Oh, yeah, it comes back to my go-karting days. Like, you can only hear them behind you. You have no mirrors, so you've just got to put your car in the right spot. And I reckon I'm quite good at that. So seems to work well for me. If they want to go the outside, they've got to do it the hard way. I always give them room, but I do make it difficult. I mean, that's the run of it. It was a
Absolutely.
good battle with Ben tonight, and that was good fun keeping him out. And then when I saw him come off, I couldn't help but laugh, and I had to focus, like, it was pretty funny. I look back on it, it was funny.
Hey, look, a successful first round for you, Darren.
Yeah, thanks.
Well done overall. Looks like you're showing, again, some pace this year to be pushing up the front.
All right, well, say sorry to Cheese for me.
You could say sorry yourself.
When I get hold of him, send him a
All right.
message. Thanks, boys.
No worries, Darren. Have a good one, mate. All right. I'm going to go now to Mike Coulston, Lewis Hamilton. I love it. Mike, you're coming out of this round very, very well off. You've had a supremely impressive first round up. Can you tell us about it from your perspective?
It was just simply a case of trying to stay out of the way of everyone, really. The previous series, I just didn't get any results because I kept getting caught up in stupid crashes and stuff like that. And this one, I just thought, the first couple of rounds, take it easy, get a position, and then go from there. And it seemed to work across the 3 races. So, yeah, I was happy with that.
Yeah, when all the dominoes were falling around you, you seem to be doing a very good job at keeping it out of trouble. Not only that, but keeping it right up with a lot of the Super 2 crowd. You're actually performing super well. Did you have any particular battles that were a highlight for you?
It was just recognizing the Super 2 guys behind me, if they were having a bad night, just move out of the way and just hold their pace. And if I could do that, with people like Boki and the other guys around me, then I was happy with that. Wasn't really anything different than just trying to keep up with the Super 2 guys. That's all.
Oh, absolutely, Coulston. It's been certainly a pleasure to watch you drive tonight. I think you've had some good battles with the likes of Cracker, and I believe you're leading the championship. So congratulations.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for the broadcast, boys.
And finally, now I've gone for a pick here to have a yarn to Nathan Higginson. Look, I've just got to talk to you about, firstly, your whole night in general, but go on, let's get the heartbreak out of the way. Race 2, what happened?
It was just, I was pushing just that little bit too hard into turn 1. I had the gap, and I was just doing what I usually do through the corner, and I just broke into turn 1 at the same spot, not realizing that the tires were just that little bit worn, and yeah, I ended up sailing it off locked rears into the distance.
Yeah, right. And how was the mentality straight after that? Were you able to snap back onto it, change your goals as such, or were you a bit gutted for yourself?
It was a 50-50 of I've really just gone and done that, but it was also right. I need to turn around and get back on the horse, and I feel like I was able to do that quite well, considering I was able to pass Lockie quite quickly. Although it was a bit of a given, considering that he was caught up in it, and I apologise to him for that. But I think I did quite well in getting back on the horse, because I was able to get within a second of third by the end of the race, being I think about 3 seconds down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, overall, Higginson, I think you've driven reasonably well tonight. You've got a couple of podiums, I think, here.
I did. It's a good way to open the bank for the season, I think.
Absolutely.
I'm really happy with how I went tonight, and I'm hoping that I can at least try and replicate it throughout the rest of the season.
Oh, mate, have you got any final comments you'd like to pop out there for anything?
Well, I'd like to give a massive shout out to the Kiwi guys for giving me the help that they have over the off season. That's a massive thank you, because I think the way that you guys have been helping me it's completely changed my mindset, and I think it's probably gonna come across to Supercars as well. But yeah, I couldn't be more thankful.
Oh, mate. Well, thank you very much. I will take that butter. Congratulations again, Higo. I think you've raced very well, and I think actually overall a bit of carnage in the last race, but overall the whole field can reasonably be reasonably satisfied, bar a couple of mistakes there. So good work to you guys and to the whole field.
And thank you to Lewis and yourself for the stream tonight.
No worries, bro. Cheers.
Alright, well that just about does us for tonight, but we'll just go over the schedule for the remainder of the year. Just bear with me here as I do add the image to the roll. Not very professional, but it's not the most professional broadcast when I'm leading it. So just bear with me here. We have the Dev Series calendar. We'll have to resize it because it's absolutely massive. But as you can see on your screens, of course, round 1 done and dusted. Round 2, which pretty much parked itself there quite comfortably down there. Simmons Plains always seems to be round 2 here. AMS Oz/ASR. Triple header, of course, for all rounds except for the special Super 100 at Bathurst. So that'll be the 1st of April. Don't be fooled, because it will be the Simmons Plains round number 2 in a few weeks' time. Round 3 at Hamilton, 22nd of April, with round 4 at Winton. Everybody's favourite Winton will occur 13th of May. So still quite a bit of, got 11 rounds to go, plus the event at Bathurst, which the lead-in for the big Enduro Cup event. But so far, 1 round in the books. Snipes, how have you found it in the box, and who has impressed you tonight before we head off?
Yeah, look, I've enjoyed it. I've definitely tripped myself up at a couple of points in time, but hey, that's all teething problems. We'll get there, baby steps. Didn't bring him up, but I thought Matt Cecil raced really well. He's popping at a couple of different places. He's happy with his couple of podiums, and absolutely, that's a solid effort. Lockie Lock also, he's going to have pace throughout this season. Definitely one to watch throughout. I suppose the upcoming rounds. Super 3, you want to look out for Cracker still more. I think he's going to be there or thereabouts, battling with Mike Coulston more, I feel, in the upcoming rounds. But I've really enjoyed myself. I've really enjoyed watching some good racing. Largely absent of safety cars, bar, of course, last race where everyone decided to go a little bit sillier. But no, it's been very good. I've enjoyed it.
It certainly has been, particularly from my point of view, fantastic night of racing for the most part. Everybody behaved themselves. The only real incidents that I was able to see were more or less just mistakes, more so than overly aggressive or brain dead driving. So big props to everybody in the field tonight. Thank you for those that were watching along, and for those that were watching as well as driving. You should probably concentrate a little bit more on your driving and turn off the stream for after the race. The racing has taken place. But anyway, thanks for joining us for the first round of the 2022 ASR Development Series. I'm Lewis Wedding. Alongside me, joining me for the first time tonight, NZ Snipes. Big thank you for him jumping into the box. Of course, Netherelmian doing a great job with the graphics and broadcast package, as well as Brendan Ross and a few others in the admin team for helping out and testing the mod here for the drivers tonight. So thank you all, and catch you on April 1st for the second round from Simmons Plains. See you then.
Yeah, nice.